hear me now? Can you hear me now?
That was the best rap you've never heard.
Can you hear us now?
No, we're not doing it again.
Oh.
We're not doing it. Hello, welcome to Nashcon 2019. We're here live in the commentary booth. It's Rob and Jacob.
What's the point of living?
The MC, fantastic. You just missed a rap, but don't worry, you're not going to miss the wrap-up of this game.
Oh, I see what you did there. Big shout out to Colin, our tech guy. He didn't hit start on the audio. So this is why I never took off as a rapper. My music career never launched because Colin didn't hit play. So thanks for that. Welcome back to round two. We are going to get into some duality of death in a minute.
We are. So we're at Nashcon 2019 live in Nashville. So this is an Age of Sigmar tournament in the heartland of the United States of America. We have got 64 players vying to be the top competitor. Both of these players have won their first round, so either of them could potentially win it. But we've chosen a matchup that's very interesting.
It's a little bit different.
It's a little bit edgy.
And in about a week, it may be nostalgic.
This is like an ice-cold brew, which I had recently this year. I never had one before. It's just something you don't think you should drink, a coffee that's cold, but it turns out it's a great feeling.
It's terrific.
Yeah.
Now, when you find out what you're going to get to watch in a second, I guarantee your reaction is just going to be, would you look at that?
Would you
just look at that?
Look at that.
Look at that. We've got Christian Ware, who is a fixture in both the American and the Australian AOS scene.
He's an Australian in America playing Warhammer. Who would have believed it?
A weep in Schultz's clothing. He's playing Order Draconis, which should be really exciting to see. Facing off against a native Alabamian.
An Alabaman?
Alabamanian?
Oh my God, he's an Alabaman.
I mean, he's white enough he could be an albino, but I don't think that's how you say someone from Alabama. Anyway, he's playing Gloomspite Gitz with a pretty heavy Troggoth list.
It's a crowd favorite. Look, we've got Dragons versus Troggoths. Yeah, who doesn't want that matchup?
Trolls versus Dragons, Dragons versus Trolls, cats and dogs living together.
Yeah, living
mass
together.
hysteria.
It is insanity.
It's gonna be a whack fest. They're gonna just whack all over the place.
So let's look at the map, so you guys don't have to look at our out of sync voices, which we will fix probably for tomorrow.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can still hear us. That's fine.
Can I rap now?
There we go. So this is Duality of Death. That's correct. I've already been through this week on a personal note, which is
oh, it's funny because his heart wasn't beating correctly.
Anyway, but really fast, so that works. So as you can see, there are two objectives here in the center, and that does look like a hilarious pair of glasses. Yeah, just give him an eyebrow. And there we go.
Real tactical stuff, Rob.
Real tactical.
How is this your profession and you're like an industry leader?
Best in the biz.
Right, which is a little
right
unsettling.
there. That's the reason people watch. That smiley face. Anyway, we'll go back to it.
Can I just, for the record, say I hate you?
That's fine, and I don't mind that at all. So if you look, those two objectives can only be held by heroes or battle line to score this, which is interesting, right? And the deployment map, this is a null zone here. Now that's going to be very, very hard for the Gloomspite Gitz player because he's got to decide where he wants to put his Loon Shrine, which is going to be really impactful.
Do you not think it makes the most sense to have it central?
Potentially, but it has to go inside his territory. And territory is defined by the blocks here, as opposed to this central line. I'm almost certain. We'll double check. It'll either be in one of those boxes. Yeah, I'm pretty certain I'm right. I got this.
I'm pretty sure you're right too.
Either way, what's going to be really interesting about Christian's list, which we'll talk about now, we should be able to go to a top down of the tabletop in 4 to 8 minutes.
Yep, it'll be coming up very shortly.
Very, very shortly. And we'll be able to talk about the list.
And we'll be able to talk about specifically which of the two lists each of them chose as soon as we get confirmation from the tabletop. But
No, I've got them.
You've got the ones that they've already chosen?
Yeah, they've chosen
Terrific.
them. I've chosen them. So it can be very... So I'm going to talk about Christian's list. So Christian's got an Order Draconis list, and he's got 3 Dragon Lords, and he has 4 units of 5 Dragon Blades.
Yep.
And they're both held within a Dragon Lord host. He's got 2 of those.
And 1 Archmage, right? So he's got what, 4 drops at this point?
Yeah, it's a 4-drop army. So a battalion with a Dragon Lord host allows...
it's for 2 units of the horsemen and 1 dragon.
Exactly. So then he's got that twice. And then the Dragon Lord host is going to allow him in the hero phase to move a unit.
or shoot, right?
Yeah, but he's first thing he's gonna move a unit.
It's once per game.
Yeah. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna take 2 dragons and he's gonna sling them down his opponent's throat turn 1. Now that because he's got 2 battalions, he's got 3 artifacts. So his general's got legendary fighter,
which is +1 attack.
He's also got the Sword of Judgment, and they've all got the War Horn. So each Dragon Lord having the War Horn allows them to, every unit within 10 inches...
Once per game.
Give them +1 attack.
Correct. So he could be at +4 attacks on one of the Dragon Lords with the Sword of Judgment.
Yeah. So it's going to go to the table.
We're going to get a look now at the tabletop.
The tabletop.
And we've got the beginning of...
deployment. Oh, it's nice. It's nice. We managed to get everything on the board ready before deployment even started.
Would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
Just look at it.
Would you look? So as I was saying, I was right about this Loon Shrine being placed here. So this is going to be the kind of deployment boxes. Sure. In fact, I might just leave them up for a minute. Oh.
Keep drawing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. Although I've not done the right bloody colours, have I? Red's meant to be at the top. What am I? A child? Something like that.
Something like that.
Or not like that
They've
at all.
They've also got it over here on the side.
Yeah, okay.
So
all right.
I don't know if you need to keep drawing it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Hold on. There you go, Jacob Berry. You are correct.
Thank
You're correct.
Appreciate that.
My pleasure. So,
would you believe me if I said I had an art degree?
Do you actually have an art degree?
No, I asked if you'd believe me.
You have a creative arts degree.
I have a bachelor's of arts.
So we've talked about.
So what's great about Christian's list though is every single unit in his army scores in this scenario. He's got 4 heroes and he's got 4 battle line units. Everything scores.
Yeah, and it's those 2 lit up objectives you can see in the center there.
Lit AF, as the youth might say on the streets.
What is interesting about how he's going to deploy? I'm going to make a quick prediction here, Mr. Jacob Berry.
Predict it.
Yeah, my first prediction is that Mr. Christian Weir is going to put all of his army in one corner.
But they can operate independendly. So does he need to? Why would he not then put the other corner for the other battalion?
Because there's Hand of Gork, right? So we'll quickly talk through Chaos list very quickly. It's got a Dank Cold Trogboss, Troggoth Hag, Web Spinner Shaman. The Trogboss, by the way, is the general. What a gangster with a realm-studded hide.
Gangsta.
That's right. Imagine having a hide covered in realm stone.
Well, it depends on which realm you're in, really. Because that could just be sand. He could just have a sandy fucking, he doesn't moisture. So he's just got sort of gritty, gross skin.
Wait, I think I have a realm-studded hide. Do I need to moisturize more?
I'll stud your realm hide. That didn't really work.
Anyone
in the chat, let me know innuendos you'd like me to make about Rob and his delicious fallacious.
Fantastic guy, correct. He's like a realm stone cowboy.
I don't know this reference. I only moved to the south. I'm not from here.
You haven't heard Rhinestone Cowboy, the song?
I can neither confirm nor confirm that I've ever heard that song.
Oh my God, okay.
Like a cowboy, baby.
Realmstone Cow. And he's also got the glowy House It, which gives him a 4+ DPR.
How's it in the game?
It's pretty good. How's it being here?
I'm glad you picked up on that thing I did. It was very subtle. He's also got 3 Fellwater Trogs, 6 Fellwater Trogs, 20 Stablas, and some Fanatics, and a unit of 2
Dank-Cold Troggoths.
Yeah.
2 Troggoths. He also has got a Fungoid Cave Shaman with a Hand of Gork. That's important because he's going to be able to do that to any of these
now,
units.
What's great about that is on top of that, there's a realm spell that's going to let him relocate a unit as well, because this is being played in the realm of Shaiish.
And there's also a realm spell that allows you to have -1 to hit. But
it's a Realmscape feature.
The Realmscape
At the start of your move
feature.
phase, you roll a dice on a 6, you pick a friendly unit that you just pick up and teleport somewhere else on the table.
Exactly.
Outside of 9 of enemy models. So he could potentially have 2 teleports per turn.
So I'm going to set up how I think the game is going to work early door. I'm going to set up how I think the game is going to work early doors.
Okay.
Yeah. What you're going to have here is you're going to put his whole army there, and then what he's going to do is he's going to clear this flank, and he's going to make this half of it. Oh, it should be red, but it's going to be that half. Dan Unsupervised. Hello. I miss you.
You are my absolute favorite commentator for the Honest Wargamer.
Agreed. He's also my favorite.
I think I knew I loved you when I heard you use the phrase "stomp resolutely" when talking about how slowly your fucking dwarves walk across the table.
Powerfully glide.
Powerfully glide?
Anyway.
Stubbornly trundle.
Also, thank you to everyone who's watching us on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. You guys are great. I hope you enjoy the show.
Shout out to OJ180. I'm sure he turned around and drank some orange juice.
OJ, can't wait. He's just been playing Warhammer, I think, all day.
Outstanding.
But I'm really excited to see it. So what I think he's going to do, let's just talk about this, Christian. But he's already put that there, so I'm wrong.
He's done the thing that I thought
mind.
he was going to do. Also, we need to fix our map.
What's wrong with that map?
It says blue, or it says red, red, blue, blue.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
See, that's a graphic design guy who doesn't give a
Yeah, that's probably Colin. He threw away my rap also.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
It was a good rap.
Let me tell you, any rap that starts with the "Yo, my name is Jacob and I'm here to say," you know is going to be high quality hip hop content.
Yeah. Barbie Coney, unfortunately, we can't bring you the list because we didn't put them on the site. We might try and do that for tomorrow so we should be able to do that. Let me tell you what's happening on the tabletop. As you can see, these dragons have gone down here. Colin is going to be able to give us a zoom in on those dragons because they're pretty amazing. I'll tell you which ones are which is exciting, because Christian has been really good with his note keeping. So he's got 3 converted dragons, and the one with the Sword of Judgment, who's his general, is the one that looks like Marathi. This one that we're seeing here is a Carnosaur, and that's got the Quicksilver potion.
Yep.
And there it's right there, and that looks great, by the way.
Outstanding. Now, right there, that's the one that's converted from Marathi.
Yeah,
that's the one
general.
That's not in the battalion. It's got the Sword of Judgment.
It's got the Sword of Judgment, and it's the general. And
so
then
it can't. That's the one that cannot double move.
Yes.
Everything else can once per game double move.
And then the final one, there's a Magmadroth dragon somewhere. Oh,
shout out to my amigo Kyle.
Can we just talk about how much
Mafia?
Colin smashed that?
Outstanding. Way to redeem yourself, Colin. You might still have a job tomorrow. If you throw away another one of my raps, I will fight you. I know where you live.
It's a nice place. That Magmadroth there is the other general. So that one has got the doppelganger cloak. So that's what you're looking for on the tabletop. We'll go back to the top down. Thank you so much.
And if you notice, the dragons actually match the roofing color here, because these are all elven structures. So and with that, you can tell that we've got the home court advantage here for Order Draconis, who has actually chosen to go first. And we're all deployed, and we're about to get some funky action going on.
So if we had a no deploy in the left-hand corner down here for...
So we've got one of the battalions doing its first free move in the hero phase.
Okay, so this is massive. Okay, so the decision to go first it's really important. So can we just talk about something that's really impactful? Using the Loon Shrine as a piece of blocking terrain.
Yep.
Huge. Then the blocker 20 here. That's great work, Kale. Big shout out. Kale? Kale.
Like the food, but without a K. It's with a C.
Calais. Well done, Calais. I'm very proud of you.
Callie. We'll call him Callie.
So as you can see, this is the hero phase movement.
Yes.
Hero phase movement. So you're going to look for an alpha going down here. Very interesting that none of this, most of the army for Christian is over on that hand side.
He's doing the battalion move with the second battalion as well. So he's leaving his Sword of Judgment hero behind.
Okay.
Very out of position.
So what's going to have to happen for Kale is Kale knows he's going to have to come and get onto this objective at some point.
But he's got both Hand of Gork and the Realm ability, so he's got the capacity to do it.
He does, but he has to keep his heroes alive, and that's not going to be too
heroes
hard.
And Battle Line, which is all of his Trogs and his Stabas.
It's not going to be too hard to do with his Lady Trog, though, the Trog Princess.
The Princess of the Swamp.
I love her so much.
Yeah. I wish someone would model her with just like a little pet donkey next to her.
Yeah, and then also with a crown.
Of course.
Get out my swamp. That's what she's saying right now. Get out my swamp.
Donkey. Somebody
once told me that dragon's gonna eat me. I decided to deploy in the corner.
The Archmage is casting its 6-up DPR save right now.
And where is the Archmage?
The Archmage is up in a corner that we can't fully see.
Okay,
I believe it's in this corner here.
Where did I put my controller?
I do not know.
Okay.
Good question, Rob. So we're looking at a big alpha move here. Now the question is how aggressive Christian wants to play this and how much he wants to actually just sit on the objectives. I think a canny play would be to get in there and really go to fight, but there is an off chance that he just wants to sit and hold the objective.
I think what you find is interesting here. There's the Archmage hidden on a piece of deadly terrain. It's done a little bit of a movement, as you can see on the left-hand screen. You can see it's just moved down to here.
Oh, look at that neck.
Cheeky. Thank you so much.
And this is now their normal move.
This is their normal move.
This is now in the movement phase.
How fast do they go?
All the fast.
Yeah. So
this game is going to take 47 minutes tops.
It's a great question, Dan and Supervisor. We do need to find out which unit on the left-hand side has held this objective. So, and also,
we won't need to know that until the end of the player turn, because as of right now, no one is controlling either objective.
Correct. And as Aladdin Sane says in the chat, it's an interesting game, a refuse flank. So what's going to happen is the stabber screen is going to be lost in the first turn.
Well, what I'm
Yeah,
curious
but that's
about
also a scoring unit that's lost.
what I'm also curious about is where do the Fanatics come out? Because they're about to happen.
They are.
It's in the charge phase, which is he doesn't have. There isn't much of a shooting phase, so unless unless Christian can wipe the entire unit of Stabas with the Dragon's Breath, which he shouldn't be able to do, we're going to see some Fanatics coming out, and they're going to be fighting and potentially blocking some really impactful charges from Christian.
Yeah, so this is the Carnosaur one. Yeah. So that has got the Quicksilver Potion. So that's going to be able to strike first.
Even before
once per battle.
the Fanatics.
Yeah. So we're seeing more movement now. Just remember
and
that
we've got a Madcap Shaman just behind this building over here.
Oh,
that
just sneaky. This just here holding the objective.
Well, it's not holding shit, but he's
like
there.
holding the flank, holding up the whole world. And that Madcap Shaman, no, not
the
Madcap.
Web Spinner. Apologies, that's the Web Spinner.
It's got the Curse of the Spider God. It's an 80-point distraction, which I think is interesting.
Seems to have worked.
It is.
I'm very distracted. I can't stop looking at that model. Let's just zoom in here. Oh, that's not how zoom works. Is that it? How do we zoom in? I'm just kidding. I'm not as bad at this as I pretend to be.
So we're going into... So as we've seen, the aggressive movements of both...
We're getting into shooting phase here.
Okay, thank you so much. We've got the aggressive movements here into the center and the objective held. But then we're going to see some Dragon Breath, and I'm interested to see what he's shooting at.
Right, because the Dragon's Breath does not have to have a hit roll, so none of the modifiers. It's going on to the Princess. The noble Dragon Lord is breathing his foul coffee, didn't brush his teeth breath onto
a fine
charging.
lady.
What happened to shooting phase?
That's the shooting. That's all there is. That's all the shooting there is.
Fanatics have come out. Here we go with the Fanatics. Here we go. Oh, boy. What a great camera angle. Colin, you are crushing it.
Colin, you're crushing it.
That almost makes up for the wrap that we lost here. He's deployed Fanatics, and I'm here to say I want to see who they're going to charge here today.
So who do you think what do you think they're going to activate into and why?
Well, the Dragon's got the Quicksilver Potion, which is going to get to strike first.
Yes.
So if Kale is ready to make mistakes, he'll put them into the Dragon.
I think what's actually going to happen is that the Grots are going to die to the Dragon, and then what's going to happen is this unit of Dragon Blades are going to try pile in and try and hit those Trog bosses. Now, the thing about the Trog...
cavalry just charged the Trog unit.
They went in.
Dank hold boss.
Okay.
The Dank hold Troggoth unit.
I'm not sure that's the best play.
It was a 9-inch charge. It looked like a 3-inch charge. Are you kidding me?
How quick is that?
Oh,
How
they rolled
fast?
a 9. They're fast AF.
Yeah.
They rolled a 9. They needed a 3.
This is going to be a quick game, ladies and gentlemen. It's fast, but it's also nice to see the Order Draconis on the tabletop.
Yep.
For in their probably this is their last outing as a
this
legal
is their
army.
Swan song.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that Kale didn't use those Fanatics to screen a little bit better. He sort of just put them in the way, but they're not blocking off much.
So those Fanatics get always strikes first?
Yeah, but not if the Quicksilver Potion in its own turn activates, it'll still swing before the Fanatics, which are just paper things.
What happens often is people have like a strategy that they use.
And they're used to using it.
And they're used to using it. They're like, this is what I do with my unit.
The
now
cavalry
that's not
on the other side, away from the camera currently, are charging that little web spinner. We don't even need to zoom in on it because we know what's going to happen.
The web spinner's going to win.
Right.
It's a tiny grot who believes in the power of spiders.
Listen, it's so much a foregone conclusion. I would describe it as a 5-gone conclusion.
Yes. So just down here,
actually 4 wounds.
Just down here is the combat. Now this is how all Draconis armies work. They just hammer at you in the first turn. I would say that I don't think that's necessarily what he needed to do. He could have traded quite nicely with 5 Dragon Blades. 5 Dragon Blades.
He's activated the Quicksilver Potion just like we thought he would to swing first and not be affected by the Fanatics.
Perfect.
That's why I think deploying the Fanatics there may have been a mistake.
I agree. But it's whether or not he decides to activate the attack against the Fanatics. People make mistakes. But just like I think putting 5 Dragon Blades here, 5 Dragon Blades here to trade, he doesn't need to go in all the way, and he doesn't need to go in all the way with 1 Dragon unsupported.
On top of that, we're looking at... there's only 1 hero here that can actually claim this objective. So there's only a bit of a realm here that cannot be Hand of Gork. So when Kale gets the turn, he has a chance, if he can get a good Hand of Gork off, he may be able to put a medium to large size unit right here, let's say, that can then either make a charge or have some sort of impact on getting this objective in his counter turn, if the characters with those spells are still alive. Oh, can't hear me. I'm sorry about that.
No, I agree. I think I think we need to look at what's going to happen here. And
Sure.
I think what Kale might be doing he might be going for a swamp wave. That's right. I've just invented that term. Who knows what that means?
Get out of my swamp wave.
Get out of my swamp wave. So what he's going to do is he's going to hammer a bunch of units in here. Then Kale isn't going to be able to deal with it this turn. Deals with it in his turn. If he wins the priority, a few more dragons, and all he's going to do is just keep him off this. Problem is he might lose his resources too quickly. Because as we saw in the last
Combat Phase podcast, what a gem.
As we saw in the last game, deciding to go in too early and overcommitting can really cost you the game.
I always go in too early. I always end up pulling out before I'm ready, and it usually ends up with me napping while my wife is sort of unsatisfied. But that's just how I play Warhammer.
Combat Phase podcast is all about Christian winning, so that's exciting. Let's know who you want to win in the chat. Do you want Gloomspite Gitz to win or Draconis? Jacob Berry, who do you want to win?
Friendship that we had inside of us along the way. You're asking me to choose between my son and my best friend, and I'm always going to choose Joe Pagano.
Every time.
Because he's both.
Yeah.
Isn't he my son? How British am I?
Oh, Rob, you set him up so well for that. Gork save, the bad moon, maximum pants, maximum charge. So we're in the combat phase now in turn 1 for Order of Draconis.
Right, and Christian's putting his... Apparently, all the stabbers except for one are dead. Did we get an answer on how many of those fanatics are dead, Scriv?
We'll find out how many fanatics died as well. Maybe no fanatics died.
He only put the claw attacks into the fanatics, and it doesn't look like they activated the horns at all. It wouldn't be terribly prudent to do so yet.
Caleb is all about Team Trollhag. Greco's in for the Gitz. Dannon supervises for the Dragons.
Only one wound was put on the fanatics, which means those fanatics may come back pretty hard.
Those fanatics can swing back into the
dragon.
What?
That'll be exciting.
What? Those fanatics are going to go ham. They're going to go hard AF.
No. That's half.
No, ham.
They're going to go hard as
a vegetarian, I don't believe in going ham.
Hard as a mother. They're going to, I mean, we are in the heartland of the USA. Barbecue Central. I would say they may go brisket. They might go smoked turkey. They may even go, and dare I say it, burnt ends.
Do you think they risk it for a biscuit? Is that
they'll risk it for the brisket. They're going to risk it for the brisket.
So we're just having there seems to be a confused gentleman who's come in from the Historical Wargaming Society. Come and spoke to our table boss.
We'll see what comes of it.
Yeah,
anyway,
he's wondering what's happening.
Looks like Kale has started his attack sequence because he's rolling a bunch of dice, and I wonder what he's attacking.
We don't know because our table boss is being molested.
Harangued by a large man.
Harangue is a good word.
Shall I go extricate him from the situation?
No, this is funnier. And I'm enjoying it more. This is better.
Okay.
However, guys at home, if you're listening, what's actually happening now?
I'm seeing Christian's about to be rolling some saves here.
In this bottom,
I think he's going to need a 2-up.
Let's never talk about dice rolls.
I'm making it up.
He's rolling dice. Cool. I can see. Here is the combats that are activated. The dragon's already attacked, but decided not to attack. 9
D3 damage. Wow. 9 D3 damage going in on that Dragon Lord from the Fanatics.
From the Fanatics?
Because they're D6 attacks.
Yeah, and there we go. It's been lifted.
And we've lifted
one
of the dragons.
It's
1 down, 2 to go.
Can I just say, I'm going to say this really quietly, that was a massive mistake. Why would you not activate into the Fanatics
that have the biggest chance to kill you?
Like, look, they did that in a turn.
And also now, when those stabbers die on a 4-up, they just come back.
Fanatics.
Right next to that shrine.
Yeah, Fanatics just...
Is that at the end of the player turn or at the end of the battle round?
The beginning of a hero phase. Beginning of a battle round.
I thought they come back at the end of the turn.
Gitz
I don't know my rules. Let's find out.
Minimum Pants says, poor dragon. I agree. Maybe.
Oh, cavalry fighting the Troggoth Hag here. I'm going to put a bet on the Troggoth Hag.
She's going to live.
On him. Yeah.
She's going to live and she's going to survive.
Budtastic says it's in the hero phase.
Thank you, Budtastic guy. How about that? I'm
okay
at what?
Would you look at that?
I'm okay at
Just look at that.
I'm going to do this. One day, I'm going to grow up and be a real boy and do this for a living. That's going to be
For now, you're just my little Woody boy.
The Troll Princess. Can we get a close-up on the Troll Princess, please, Colin, you gorgeous man? I think we've already got one like on the left. I don't mind that.
She's a good-looking babe.
She is a babe.
And I don't mind saying it. I'm a fan of her tiggle bitties.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think she's going to swing back okay. She's not going to die. And then the vomit, by the way, from Christian, basically in his first turn, has tried to alpha.
But went for the screen.
He went for the screen and then is allowed all this counterpunch. So he's lost his dragon and 2 Draconis. So basically, Kale is in his deployment zone.
The princess has taken 5 of her 14 total wounds.
And she took 2 already earlier. So that's 7.
Oh, she's 16 wounds?
16 sexy wounds.
So she's down to 9.
She is so alive.
No, she's taken 5 in total.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. She's so alive.
She a chunk. That girl a unit.
By the way, Christian's army is gorgeous.
No, see? Thank you, Budtastic Guy. At the end of your turn, you get to roll to see if the Gitz come back. Budtastic Guy agrees he's dumb. I believe this is why you are part of my podcast network, so I'm trying to educate you on the rules of the game. I love you, Rob. Welcome to the team.
Right. If you look, there's no way that this unit was ever going to kill this.
No.
Not 100% sure. Come on, as an Aussie Christian, those guys, by the way, play some fantastic Warhammer, and they know what they're doing.
The Gitz player has burned a CP to make sure he can reroll 1s to hit.
Burnt a CP to reroll 1s to hit. That's smart. On the Troll Hag.
I assume. One presumes.
Okay. Very naughty dragon. I think this has been a massive
On
blunder.
the Dankhold unit. Dankhold unit. Because those big boys, each of them can crush a horseman in their hand.
They
on
can.
a 2-up.
So there are 2 Dankhold trunk bosses here, which is, can I let you know that in a normal competitive list, this is twice as many, 2 times more, plus 2 more than I normally see.
This just in, from this combat, we have just seen our first casualty of a horsey.
A horse is dead.
A horsey.
Oh, horsey. So that is a dragon blade.
That boss jumped right on his back right while he was trying to fuck off. And just let's just say his life was strangled from him and he went limp.
Colin, can we just get that close up, please? That'd be so great. Thank you so much. So what hasn't activated yet? The troll hag hasn't activated back.
The lady of Troglandia has yet to activate.
Yeah, she has.
Her name is now Elsa.
And then in the right-hand corner, I don't mind just going back to that kind of more viewed-out shot, if you don't mind. In the corner, you can see here. This is where the other unit of Dragon Blade's in. There's 2 Trog.
I don't think that was a great charge either.
No, none of this has been a good decision.
I think sending the dragon in.
I am unhappy about these decisions.
Sending the dragon in wasn't an awful choice, and actually, it turns out that Kale's deployment of those fanatics gave his opponent an opportunity to make the wrong choice. And
Agreed.
then Kale was able to capitalize. But it looks like those 2 units of Dragon Blades are going to get, as you say, minced.
Well, they have locked him in that area for a turn.
Thank you, Slanice, for the horsey. And that is quite a long sea dragon you got there.
Rob, start.
One of the Dankholds has taken 2 wounds, but otherwise not too much damage from those Dragon Lances.
So these Dragon Blades are going to die in his next turn. So what's going to happen in in Kale's first turn is he's going to. I mean, you've already.
Now it looks like actually we've got the Dankhold Trog boss, the general right there, who's now going to be swinging on the Dragon Blades because this unit here is 2 Dankhold Trogoths, the non-hero versions.
And then the hero's coming in.
The hero's coming in right now.
He's actually the general.
He is.
Called Trog.
General Trog.
Yeah, and he's gonna just smash face, I think.
So
realistically,
doesn't he have the ability on basically he rolls and has to beat the number of wounds a model has and just removes a model?
Yes, crushing grip.
Another. Oh, yeah, I have that.
Yeah, crushing grip.
Only
crushing
with
grip.
my right hand though. It's like a crushing lotioned grip. Anyway, another horsey is dead. I don't know if his attacks have come in or just the crushing grip, but we'll find out. Christian Ware is our Order Draconis player.
Aladdin's saying you're absolutely right. Doing a refused flank means effectively your opponent and splitting your army. Your opponent is effectively fighting their whole army versus you.
Combat phase. Thank you, bud.
Yeah.
Celebrating Christian moving on from Fire Slayers.
So I can take number 1. Don't worry, if you play Fire Slayers like you play
games,
if you play Fire Slayers like you play Order Draconis, then I don't think you got any threat.
No, not really. It looks like the other 5 horses on the other side are trying to horsey that web spinner out.
Yeah, so we need. There's going to be some combats back here.
Yes, the Trog Princess is still going to end up fighting.
And then also we've only lost one of this unit of 5 Dragon Blades on the right hand side.
I believe so. Two are dead there.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Now,
so there's only it's 2 Dragon Lords at the end of the day. 2 Dragon Lords here, 2 units of Dragon Blades is all that's actually left in Christian's army. And then
Web Spinner, surprise, surprise, survived the whole thing.
Did it actually?
No, I'm fucking with you, bud.
I was so excited for that.
He hella did. He did AF.
No, I don't want that to happen.
The princess is now fighting against.
You caught me in your web of lies.
Oh, yeah, it's a sticky situation.
Yes.
I like to spin a lot of half truths and such.
Half truths, good.
Now, really,
we're now into. Oh wait, no, he's still in combat.
The Trog Princess is attacking, and she whiffed. That's unfortunate. For her.
She did no damage.
She did nothing.
Well, that seems unfortunate
Only
and rude.
3 attacks. Now,
I'd say.
really quickly, let's talk about the schemes that both these players are running. So Christian's goal is his scheme, his hootenanny, if you will, is et tu brute, which is for his general to be killed. His general is the. Oh, was that the dragon that just went in and died?
Yes.
Then he has achieved his scheme.
Oh,
you heard it here first.
So Christian actually was looking to do this.
He wanted his general to die.
So interesting. So here at Nashcon, not only do you turn up with 2 lists and decide on the tabletop
yep.
Which army you want to play, you also have one of 25 various schemes, hootenannies and hoodwinks that you can achieve. And they are worth loads, potentially game-winning amounts every round. So he's thrown that general away in the hopes of that being the points he needs.
Yep, exactly right. No battle shock damage done. Really, just a couple horses done here and there. But also with that, so on the topic of schemes, Kale's scheme is called the Tomb King's Curse, and the way that works is he picks one of his units to be cursed, and when that unit is killed, it transfers the curse to whatever unit killed it, and that unit is then cursed. And the way that works, whichever player has a cursed unit at the end of the game loses.
Which unit was cursed?
I have no idea. That's a terrific question. I would love to find out which unit Kale had chosen to be cursed.
Okay, no problem.
And we're now also into Kale's hero phase. And so Kale has a lot of spells he can cast.
So we're in the first turn for Gloomspite Gitz.
We're in the first turn for Gloomspite Gitz.
Gloomspite Gitz.
So that should have been 2 points for Order Draconis.
Yes. 2 points for Order Draconis there being scored.
And they spent one of their CPs, which means they should have still had 1 CP because they started with. I'm sorry, they should have 2 because they started with 2.
It's okay. We'll just let them do it.
Yeah.
We'll get a CP update and a score update on the overlay.
Agreed.
And then we'll.
Okay, and the unit that was cursed, turns out it was the Stabas. So the unit that. Oh, wow. Okay. So now the Stabas were cursed. They were killed by the Dragon Lord.
This is over here.
The Dragon Lord then became cursed. He was killed by the Fanatics, who now hold the curse.
Wow.
So Kale needs the Fanatics now to be killed in order to achieve his scheme.
So it's like an STD, just jumps from person to person.
That's exactly what it is, the Tomb King's Curse. Tristan gives it out every time you fuck him. Or blow him, I'm sorry.
So that means we're in the hero phase.
We're in the hero phase.
We've already lost a wizard. So there's only 2 wizards left. So you've got, very, very interestingly, you've got -1 to hit that can come out of the Troggoth Hag here. And you've also got the Fungoid Cave Shaman, and he's got the Hand of Gork. So we might see a unit, one of maybe these scoring units here,
right?
Put in here, go for the 9-inch charge, and start engaging.
Absolutely.
But that might be what we see early doors. If not, I just think Kale's in a really strong position. Because all he has to do is just start hitting those Dragon Blades, clear these out in his turn, and whether or not he gets the priority. If he gets the priority, I'd maybe let Christian take it.
Because he can't double move anymore.
Nope.
His threat range is limited because he has to stay back there to control objectives.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really solid. Big thank you to Combat Phase Podcast on appreciating this.
Whoever that dark blue is,
excellent live stream. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for being here. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Combat Phase.
If you have enjoyed it, could you just make sure that you let everyone know?
Right.
Just every person you meet.
And the way you do that is you go on the iTunes store and you
No,
go and
not that.
subscribe to Rage of Sigmar
No,
podcast,
don't do that.
leave a 5-star review. There's something weird going on with iTunes right now where it won't let you give a 1 through 4 star review, so don't even bother. But say whatever you want, positive or negative, but just go ahead and click 5 stars so we can get the review. We love feedback, anything we can do to improve our show.
Or you could just let everyone know about the amazing live coverage The Honest Wargamer tries to put on it as often as it can.
Whenever they can.
Yeah, whenever we can. That'd be great. Share it with your friends. Put it on Facebook. Maybe some Facebook groups.
Share it with your non-friends. You don't have to like them.
Yeah.
The coverage is good.
Your nan, your granddad. Yeah?
What's
Your
a
auntie,
nan?
your uncle. Not your brother, though. Not him.
Have you met my brother?
I've heard he is a butthole.
He has one. Let's talk about the real issues, though. I've been told that you, Rob, refused to... Never mind. Kenny Lowell, my boy. Good old Kenny Lowell. He's the Fire Slayer extraordinaire.
Friendly psychopath. I don't play Warhammer, but I almost understand what's happening. That's what we're here for. So what is currently happening on the tabletop is Kale is taking his first turn as the Gloomspite player. Gloomspite Gitz players list, which is here on the tabletop. And then
on the Fanatics, right? Yeah, but then when that unit died, it gives it to the Dragon Lord, right? By the Fanatics, and now the Fanatics have the curse?
this is
Yeah.
okay, so what's actually happening at the beginning of the turn is we're getting some hero face stuff occurring here, and what's happening is this troll hag, Trog boss, and the Trog boss, and the Dankhold Trogoths are locked in combat with the Dragon Blades on the right hand side. So that's what we're seeing. So
none of the spells went off. We didn't get Hand of Gorkov, so that's not going anywhere. Also, it turns out the Fanatics are not the ones that have the curse, because there was one Staba left alive by the dragon. When they fled to Battle Shock, the unit was destroyed, and no one received the curse, so Kale was successful.
So there was just one scared grot running off into the night with the curse.
Turns out the syphilis killed her, and she couldn't give it to anyone else.
Very interesting. That's very interesting. So we're now into the movement phase. I am actually...
Spay and neuter your dogs, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
really interested to see what Kale is going to do to ostracize him out of this objective. So he's obviously locked in combat here and here. He has some room in the center to potentially move forward. Now, both of those two units of Trogs here, the Fellwaters and the Rock Guts, which he has a unit of... he just has two units of Fellwaters. Sorry, he's got unit 3 and a unit of 6. He also has that unit of Fanatics, and either of those two units of Dragon Blades are going to rue the day that the Dragon Lord General did not kill those Fanatics.
Rue indeed.
Yeah, he's going to rueth those days.
Right.
So let's see Kel doing some micro measuring. We might be able to get Colin to switch the camera over for us.
The Fanatics, unfortunately, were only able to move 6 inches because the entangling terrain and his run roll meant they couldn't move very far. Now, what's interesting in this scenario is you don't get to claim just for outnumbering for a duality effect. You have to kill the unit that's holding it in order to claim it from them. So it looks like Christian's in a decent position for early turns, especially if he can get the priority going into 2, because his Archmage no one's going to be able to kill his Archmage at this point. Nothing can get there and kill it in a turn.
Not yet. Without Hand of Gork, it's a slow army.
Agreed.
It's absolutely a slow army. Which is maybe what Christian is banking on. What he's potentially going to try and do is just keep him pinned in that corner up till about turn 3, at which point then he's just going to race ahead on points and just score the game.
Yep.
So really what Kale has to do is make sure he just ostracizes himself from that position as soon as he can.
Well, Kale's really good at that. He is notorious for saying he'll be showing up to an event and then not showing up, so he's a very self-ostracizing kind of fella.
Interesting.
We actually have a name for him in our group chat. It's Balin Kale.
Balin Kale.
Balin Kale.
Wow, Balin Kale.
Not because of the hay, because he just don't show up to shit.
So he literally won't say hey.
He's like the opposite of hey whoa Twitch. He'll say whoa and then not say hey and not show up.
So the unit of 3 Fellwaters here has been able to ostracize themselves. Now what's really cool about them is they have a devastating puke attack. So it hits on one
I
attack
heard
each.
you had that the other day.
Yes.
Midstream, in fact.
Yes. Last weekend. Someone has whomped our camera.
Christian's a big boy. He's strong. He's strong.
Powerful. So this unit here hits on 2s with their puke, wounds on 3s. It's -1, but it does D3 damage. So they could do huge damage in here to the Dragon Blades. They've also the Troggoth Princess. She also has got a puke attack, and then
which is even stronger.
And I think we see that unit in the middle run.
Yes, they're running.
They are running.
We've confirmed that.
So that's going to be a scoring unit. So they definitely are looking to next turn start to get towards here. If we can get to the top down again and show where they're potentially in danger, that would be cool. Thank you, Colin. So that they've gone quite wide. So this unit here, which moves 14, they're only get to there. So they probably won't get the charge, which is going to be interesting. Which is why, if I had the priority role, this guy,
give it away.
I'd give it away because they can't threaten me.
To quote personal friend and poet laureate, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, give it away.
Give it away.
Give it away.
Give it away now.
Give it away now.
Give it away now. I've seen a very smart fella who's brought a cool box full of food.
He's a fart smeller right there. Oh, that's the Trogs. Never mind. So it looks like we got some shooting going on here.
Bucket Ninja, there is
probably the barf attacks.
By the beginning of the next round, we will actually get you some stats on which armies we're going to see at the event. I know there are 8 Khorne armies, there are 8 Flesh Eater Courts players, and there are 5 Gloomspite Gitz players, but only 1 Skaven player, which I think is quite interesting. I don't know. I find it interesting anyway.
Absolutely.
WS10P.
And we've got the Queen barfing now.
Can we just talk about WS10P, who about a year ago, when we did the very first live stream for the Honest Wargamer of an event, when we did Bobo originally, he was Dragon Lord Pete. He went 5-0 with Order Draconis that weekend and killed 3 Nagashes.
What a monster.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a great question, JTuck21. How did the Grot run away near the shrine? It would be immune to battle shock. It's possible that it was removed from over here because it was a long line, and I'm not sure that the radius reaches far enough. Depends on where the models were removed from.
Yes, absolutely.
One more dead horsey from the puke. There is Daughters of Cain here. We do definitely have some BCR, and I'm pretty sure we have at least one gut buster. Hashtag as deadly as ever.
It's actually an incredibly interesting match, actually. I'm not sure, Colin, if you can get one of the cameras to look at the waterboard that's behind our main game that we're looking at currently.
In America, we don't waterboard anymore.
That's what you say. So that table there, because there's an amazing game between Jake LeCure
and Isaiah Ramchek,
yes,
the boy wonder.
Yeah, so you have Slanesh versus Daughters of Cain, a very top table,
classic matchup,
a very top table match. There it is. You can see it in that little small panel. We'll move over to it quickly. You can see pretty intense. And the Detroit team have got a little logo on the back of their jackets that says
3 wins or walk home.
3 wins or walk home. There you go. That's a jacket.
And if Isaiah has anything to say about it, Jake will be walking home all the way to Detroit.
But I mean, this table's a mess. But there's Keeper of Secrets, and there is a stunning Daughters of Cain army by Jake.
Absolutely.
So that's a really interesting match.
On the main table just now, we've got the Fellwaters fighting the Horsies.
Yes, we do.
So
we're past the shooting phase?
The shooting has already happened.
And what happened in the shooting phase as a roundup?
A couple of, maybe 1 or 2 wounds was dealt to that Dragonlance unit. 1 dead horsey.
Here, so this Dragon Blade unit in the left.
Correct.
Okay. And then we didn't have any sick put onto this unit in the corner?
This unit here ran, and I'm not sure if the Dankhold or the Trog boss get to puke. I don't think they have a puking attack.
No. Down unsupervised, there is neither a dispossessed player nor is there a Legion of Asgore player. We are both unpopular at this event, it would seem.
Mathematically, Duardin are going to be undefeated at Nashcon.
Exactly. Oh, there is a Fire Slayers player and a Caradron Overlords player.
Mathematically, Dispossessed and Legion of Asgore will be undefeated at Nashcon.
At Nashcon
2019. Nashcon, which obviously stands for NAMBLA Associated Students Having Creative Over-the-Table
Hotties.
No, it has to be an N. Naughtiness.
Perfect.
And we've got 2 dead horsies, so the queen is free, or as we say in the United States, the juice is loose.
Yeah, so the Troggoth Hag here cleared out that unit of Dragon Blades, which is important. We've still got 2 Dankhold Troggoths and a Trog boss that's going to engage there. Sure. But what's important is this unit of Fellwater Troggoths, this unit of 6, which is a scoring unit, is started to progress forward, which is what they wanted. And And which I think is quite clever, this unit of 3 Fell Waters has formed a bit of a screen.
A protective barrier to protect the queen.
Protect the princess. Now she heals D6 D6 wounds at the beginning of every hero phase. So she would have healed D6 wounds. The Troggoth princess.
And she had taken 5, so it's very possible she's in a much healthier place.
We'll find out how many wounds we have
horses
left.
are swinging on the dank hold Troggoths and Trogboss right now. We'll see how much damage they're able to do. I don't imagine it'll be much. Do you?
No, I don't. However, Jacob, let's start looking at what's coming up next. Is the priority roll?
Well, next will be game 3.
No, let's look at the let's pull it back a little bit. Let's zoom in. Yeah, let's look at minutiae of the moment. Let's not look grand scale. The problem is you're too big picture. You're creating networks, media empires. Your head's in the clouds.
We're gonna be.
Let's focus down.
You're right. We need to focus on the priority roll right now.
Yeah,
because if Christian wins, he should be able to project more power and keep his Archmage safe, and also consolidate power. Make sure he's starting to take out those bigger threats like the big units of the Troggoths.
Yes.
If Kale should win, he's going to start pushing towards those dragons and fighting and barfing with his Trogs, which will put Christian in a pretty bad spot.
Oh, I personally think if Kale wins the priority roll, he should give it away. I think he should give it away to Christian.
You think Kale should give it away?
Yeah, I think.
And you think Christian should give it away?
No, sorry. I don't think Christian should give it away.
You think Christian would take it if he had a chance?
Yeah, no, I think both players should give it away.
Right.
Realistically. Kale doesn't want to go, and Christian doesn't want to go. What you want is to make Kale move on to the objective so that Christian can move his dragons onto those scoring units.
And attack the important things.
And then similarly, Kale wants him to have to use his movement.
Here we go with the priority roll.
Oh, we're going to find out.
Kale can't roll on the table. Kale has won the priority.
So
now,
he's won it. Is he going to take it?
This is the important question. You can see him consterning furiously.
It's very serious.
What would be a beard, but he is a clean-shaven, baby-faced, beautiful motherfucker.
Clean-shaven is the technical term for a man who can't grow a beard. Is it eunuch?
Kale is taking it like a boss.
He's taking it.
He's taking it.
There he is.
He's also chosen to hold priority.
So he's taking priority. There, as you can see, that's Kale.
And Kale scored 0.
Good-looking man,
points.
Kale.
Kale is a wonderful-looking man.
Okay. Well, so
he's a hunk of man candy right there.
Let me talk about this decision, because in my opinion, Mr. Jacob Berry, I think he should have given it away. Realistically, because what he's going to do is he's going to move over here.
Yep.
Now he could potentially make himself, and then he's going to get the charge off, we hope, and kill this character here dead. That's the Archmage. So then he's got a good field, and he can start to move the rest of his army forward. But he is going to let 2 dragons come over in this situation. Whereas if he hadn't, what would have happened is both dragons would have made a beeline down here and been further away from the objective, unless they'd have split one there. And then one there. Oh no, sorry. One down here and one down there.
Agreed. And
then if they had done that, then it would have been a little bit more interesting. But right now, I think he's set himself up to get countercharged quite heavily.
It seems that Kale forgot to try to bring back his unit of Stabas.
Of course he did.
And he just cast Mystic Shield on the big unit of Fellwater Trogs.
Mystic Shield?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Reroll those ones.
On Trogs, what would that look like? Just a cloud of flies, maybe some sort of like barnacles.
Yeah.
Like knee plates made of barnacles.
Like a mystifying miasma of sorts.
Potentially, yeah. Very.
A shroud of flies.
Any of those things, definitely.
A cloak of funk.
A powerful funk.
A cloak of powerful funk.
Yeah. That's currently what I'm rocking.
It looks like he just cast.
So in the hero phase, he's cast Hand of Gork.
It looks like he's either redeploying with the command trait, or the Realmscape feature, or the Hand of Gork. Oh, it was Hand of Gork that he just cast. Good. Glad to clear that up. So it looks like we've got a big threatening unit in that backfield now, which is going to make for a really interesting.
I don't rate that at all.
Now 9 inches is a tough roll to make. It's a 33% chance, essentially.
So the current the unit that he is focused on there.
We don't actually know. We have to find out which unit is holding it, because it doesn't matter outnumbering, and it doesn't matter about the other scoring unit in play. It's whichever one is currently claiming it.
Yeah, so our table boss, Mr. John Scrivens, will actually find out which of the 2 scoring units near the objective on the left is holding,
Now,
whether or not it's Marathi or the Dragon Blades.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I do remember that piece of terrain being an entangling forest, which would be -2. I wonder if we can zoom in a little bit further there on that marker.
This one here is entangling. Can you let us know?
Terrain?
Oh my God, the power of technology.
Is that nullification?
Nullification.
It's okay.
It's
But
nullified.
the horses are the ones holding it, which are a much more fragile unit. Now, this may have been very clever on Christian's part, because he's going to bait these trogs into fighting the horsies here, and then all the dragon has to do is come and mop up on the counter
Yeah,
charge.
I personally wouldn't have done this. Like, I would have, because what he's done is he's effectively just put a single solo unit on its own and then hopes to fight a whole army, which is what we just saw Christian do to
And
Kale's
it did
army.
not work.
Did not work. No, you don't want to split like this. Whereas what he should have done is scored on the right and then consolidated. He would have been attacked, but then he would have counterpunched. Yeah, but unfortunately he's decided not to do that.
Aw, thanks, Default 369.
Uh,
I love that you're putting us up on the show.
That's very nice. So yeah, we're currently live in the Mall of America.
That's in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital.
So we are live. Hello, everyone in Washington, D.C.
Can you guys say hi to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for me?
I love her.
She's wonderful.
So much.
I'm very married and very happily so. She could get it.
She's
brilliant.
Let me tell you.
She is brilliant.
Let me tell you about her. I would just emotionally support her in any of her quests to take over whatever she needed to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well done, her. However,
Keep fighting the good fight, girl.
yeah,
All the power to all the
OJ,
people.
let me know what you think. You reckon
Horsey.
horsey going down? So the big question here.
If he can make that charge.
No, it's not.
Interesting question here though is if these
Why are they
frogs-
there?
He's going at the threats.
What? But
I
then
know,
they're
you
going
don't
to come.
score points on
They're going to
threats.
come towards him.
Oh,
This
Mall of
is-
America in Minnesota. There's more than one Mall of America. All right, Default 369. I guess I'm dumb.
Screw that guy.
You know, I still really like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for the record.
You really wanted to let it know. I like all of the squad.
Hashtag squad.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Ilan Omar, because she's also a boss, but we can move on.
Yeah, we'll move on right now.
Aw, thanks, Minimum Pants.
Thank
That's
you.
my buddy Kyle.
We are trying to make it better than sports eventually, because sports are good, right? They've got human beings.
Love
Normally,
sports.
they've got some sort of ball or an egg. Yeah. However, this has got a look at this. This lady here. This is a Troggoth or a troll, and she's got giant flappy titties. Yeah. She's got a bag of treats. She's got a stick, and she's got some other little trolls. Thank you so much,
And we've got
Colin. You are
the
smashing
unit of
this.
2 trogs is going
And
to be
she is
running
there,
towards
and
the
all
objective.
she's going to do is puke on stuff and cast spells. Yeah. That is pure class.
In,
That
out.
is pure class.
And I'm spent. So we've got the Trog unit running right here around the Loon Shrine. Now, it seems that Kale in some ways sort of used that terrain to his own detriment. He sort of blocked himself off from getting towards the objective.
It's cool use of the terrain, though, because this Loon Shrine, as it's called, takes up a huge volume of space. So it's quite clever. And I really like the refused flank as well. Oh, we're seeing the Fanatics. What is that? A massive charge from the Fanatics?
What do they need? Did
What
they get
the
it?
fuck?
What
That
in
is
the world?
amazing. What did they
He rolled
roll?
a 9 on that charge.
So unfortunately, they're not a scoring unit because they're not battle line they're not
but
a hero.
If what happens if the model controlling it dies, but there isn't an eligible scoring unit?
then it no longer gets
then
scored.
nobody controls it.
Yeah.
If
Unfortunately,
I can't have it, nobody can.
Yeah, in a poorly written version of the rules, at one point you could hold it even through death. However,
From beyond the grave.
From beyond the grave. But now that is a crazy roll. Dragons and
The
Tupperware
Hand of
titty roll
Gorkside
tolls.
made their 9-inch charge with that unit of 6 trogs, and it looks like
Why?
he's going mostly into. It's about split, both into the dragon and into the horsies. Now, I don't think that's a terrible move once he made that charge, because killing the dragon eliminates the threat.
Can we find out what the Fanatics needed to roll there? Because
They
that
rolled
like
a 9.
a 9.
They hit a 9.
I personally he can't have guaranteed to.
Looks like they only needed a 7, and they made a 9, but they were -2 from entangling.
Okay, they can't have guaranteed to make that charge, right?
They could not have guaranteed it.
So what's really interesting about that is, in my opinion, what's really interesting about that is he still hasn't scored there, and then he's overcommitted. And I'm sounding super negative today. I'm so sorry, everyone, but I feel like
Fanatics are fighting, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like he's way overcommitted here, realistically.
18
now,
attacks from 4. So 4d6. He got 18 attacks from those Fanatics.
but he still needs to get a scoring unit onto there, and he's not going to do it for maybe 2 turns.
Okay, but if this is dead, and let's say this is dead,
Yeah, but
suddenly
I don't think that Dragon Lord's going to die.
are the Trogs not that good at combat?
The trucks are fine. I'll get his stats
But they
for the
won't do
trucks.
14 wounds on against a 4-up save?
No, I don't think. No, they're not
He
going
doesn't have a DPR. They've got...
I don't think he's going to go through it, personally.
Okay.
I really
Can't
don't
wait to
think.
see.
That's the gossip. Do you guys think
they
that...
have a 2-inch? They have a 2-inch reach, so they'll all be able to hit the dragon if they
So
want to.
the 4 attacks each. Yeah. 3's...
24 attacks, 3s, rend 1, damage 2.
Oh,
you don't
wow.
think they'll be able to take out that dragon?
So 24 attacks,
I'll
3's.
accept your written apology or published on the air later today.
So they get 16 through in hits, and then they
11 on wounds.
get...
4-up save goes to a 5-up.
so then that takes out...
That's going to be 8 that go through.
So 16 damage.
Which
So
will kill him.
So on the nose, let's see if that works out.
Do you want to make a gentleman's... Do you want to put a gentleman's bet on it?
If the dragon dies, you have to do an entire show pretending to do a Welsh accent.
Hold on, I said the dragon was going to die.
If the dragon doesn't die, I mean.
I don't know what a Welsh accent sounds like, but I'll take your bet.
Deal.
If
No, in an English accent, I prefer
if
that.
the dragon dies,
Yeah.
you have to do an entire episode while having Nathan ask you how British he is.
Deal. Challenge, sir. Accepted.
You can't see this on the camera, but we have just shaken. We've just shaken, and I've shaken Rob's hand so hard, he is opening and closing his hand as though he is a Dankhold Trog boss.
Ready to crushing grip. Ready to
So
crushing
2
grip.
attacks are going on the knights, the rest are going on
By
the
the way,
dragons.
we did
God
see...
damn it. I needed all the attacks, Kale, to go on the dragon.
Thank you, Kale. I
But how
appreciate
British
that.
am I?
Yeah, you're so British. That's the question. Over here, the Archmage on the right-hand side did die. So, Kale has actually secured that flank to a degree, not forgetting there's still this dragon
Now,
out in the roost.
There's only 4 remaining scoring units for Christian.
There's only 4?
And we looked 2 dead horsies. So now he's starting to lose steam here. He's got the 2 dragons. He's got a unit of 3 horsies that are currently claiming, and the other unit that's off screen here behind the building.
So because again, what's interesting about engaging early and not needing to is, especially when it comes to movement, like if you're slow, I played a very slow army for a long time. So one of the things that I've learned is that you can't engage early, or people tend to engage early, but they overextend. What you have happening here is both of these 2 characters, both of these 2 dragons, in fact, are going to be able to engage here in the second turn of Christian's turn. Thank you very much. And then what they're going to be able to do is use their huge movement to go across the board and engage in other areas, because they can project power quite far, whereas ignoring Hand of Gork, that's
Only
not
8
actually
damage
true.
were dealt to the dragon.
It's alive. I win the bet.
You got lucky that he put the wrong attacks in the wrong unit.
I didn't trust
You
him.
sassy bitch.
I didn't trust him. Why would you split your attacks? This isn't how the game works. You don't split your attacks. You do one thing in one place.
This is actually exactly how the game works. If you split your attacks, you get nothing done. So, right? Yeah.
You're so right. You're so right.
I guess the dragon doesn't have the shield, so he's not rerolling saves.
Yeah.
He had a horn and a lance, which makes the dragons +1 to wound and +1 damage on the charge.
Yeah, they're not defensive. No one takes the defensive ones often. It's normally the lance version that charge around and do the killing. Those trolls taking a kicking back. It'll be interesting to see how much they take. They potentially can hold up as well. It's got to deal with the Fanatics. The Fanatics just have an innate strike first, right?
They do.
You can just Dragon Breath them. That's fine. Go there.
Easily.
They've got no save. Just Dragon Breath them, which is interesting. And then the issue is this is a scoring unit and a scoring unit for
And
Kale.
because the Dankhold Trog boss is the general, are the Troggoths, is the Denkhold Troggoth unit also
So
battle
the
line?
Trog boss, who's the general, he's a scoring unit.
And he makes normal Troggoths,
Battle line.
including Denkhold Troggoths?
Yeah. No, not no.
They're not battle line.
No.
Okay. Maybe Kale will remember to bring back his Stabbas though, and he'll get an extra.
I want my stabbers back, boys.
Bring him back.
I want my stabbers back at the
Bring him
loot
back.
shrine.
Bring him back.
Shout down into the hole. I want to get more Gitz up here stabbing knees.
Yeah, learn, train, and play says there's no such thing as overkill, and never try to multitask.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Yep.
Couldn't agree with you more. I eat one food right down to it being finished, then I move on.
I don't even peel it. I just eat the banana whole.
You do. I've seen that. I've seen that. It's terrifying.
3 damage. 2 damage was dealt to some Troggoths. We'll find out how many Fellwater survive after this.
Yeah, so the big question is whether or not these Troggoths are going to die. I personally don't think they're going to.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Don't they have a 4-up DPR?
They have a
5-up
plus.
DPR.
So this in Kale's, not Kale's, so Christian's extended, you might be
Christian.
able to come around and give those guys a bit of a kick-in.
Agreed.
Which is
It
interesting.
Yeah. It seems that Kale has not put himself in a great position to use his command points. He hasn't been able to keep heroes near his fighting units.
Gloomspite Gitz have.
Only 2 damage dealt to the Troggoths, so none were killed. He's still got a full unit of 6.
Wow.
Now, if... Oh, I'm sorry, 1 died.
Zanj, thank you for
thanks,
subscribing
Jan.
for 2
Zanj.
months. Thank you to everyone who subscribes on the Honest Wargamer
Really
or who supports us on
appreciate
Patreon. You help us to be able to create content like this, so massive shout out to you guys. You're the one who's got us all the kit. So if you have subscribed or you've been a Patreon member, this is for you. You guys are the fucking best. So thank
You are the
so much.
real American heroes
Yeah.
that we made along the way. Now, Dan Unsupervised thinks it's always better to overcommit and ensure you take something off the board than to split your attacks and focus and potentially fail both, right? So better to put all your attacks in one place. I think Dan is a good tactician. I've never played him or met him or talked to him.
Who
but
didn't supervised? You should just call him. You two would have the best time. He's
call
amazing.
him, like what, with a phone?
Yeah. Just I'll get you guys in a WhatsApp group. You guys are hilarious.
Agreed. I'm hilarious.
Aladdin Sai, I'm glad we got the objective
It
lights
looks like
back.
Kale forgot that he had to kill the horsies in order to claim the objective. So that's why he didn't put more attacks on the Dragon Lance unit, and he put a lot of attacks onto the Dragon Lord.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Turns out he decided to bail from tactics. That got the Colin thumbs up.
I got a thumb up from Colin.
Balin
He was
Kale
over
is
the moon about
active
that.
and willing.
Eyeglasses says, I really like the mat and terrain here. It looks so good for stream. Sometimes the mat and terrain is so decorative, it's hard to tell it apart from the models, and it makes the battle hard to follow. This setup, it looks good, and all their overhead cam, and I can actually see what's going on. Also,
Right.
the commentary is awesome. Well done, Mr. Jacob
Aw,
Barry.
thanks, guys. Now we're actually probably going to bring on a different set of terrain for the day 2 because there's just so much great terrain to showcase here. I know we mentioned this earlier, but if you're interested in this sort of thing, you can reach out to Anthony Polcastro on Twitter. He does a lot of 3D printing. He usually does it either at cost or tries to keep his prices low. I don't think he's in it to be a merchant. I think he's in it to get good-looking tables on the board.
So just in case you guys are interested, everything you can see on the terrain board is actually 3D printed. So this building here, thank you very much, Colin, is a 3D printed piece of terrain. Took 3 hours. Not 3 hours. 300 hours, which I know sounds like a lot, but you just... and material that costs
And there's
about...
actually the entire inside has the details of a library. I don't know if David has painted it. Scrivo, can you see inside and see if it's painted or just take the top off of the building?
might be able to say
Ladies and gentlemen, you can't get rid of us that easy.
Dear.
You thought Balin Kale had struck again? He done not.
What happened? We'll
know.
find out.
His stream went down. So when you look at these tables, I think it really makes a big difference. And like I said, our buddy Anthony, who prints a lot of this, he has 2 of the large Creality print beds that have up to a 12-inch by 12-inch print bed. It only costs around $400 or $500.
So he's got one that's got $200, but this one in the center was used. It was a $650 machine, but just fascinating that it got created. Anyway, just because this will be a restart in a different file online. Welcome to Nashcon 2019. We're halfway through a game between Gloomspite Gitz and Draconis. Not even halfway. We're actually in. We're actually in turn 2. We need to get a 0 put up on for Gitz there.
Now it looks like there's some question about if you can retreat and still retain control of the objective. So they've called a judge to find out and make sure. I do believe you are able to. You cannot take an objective.
No.
If you retreat, if you end a move that's a retreat, you lose control.
You
of the
lose
objective.
control. No, so that's a no. Is the answer. But we'll see.
Correct. Yeah. So when you retreat, you lose control of it, just like if you were killed.
So he's decided not to retreat the Dragon Blades. This dragon, interestingly, has moved around, looking to just flank onto that unit of Troggoths, I assume. Can we get a little closer in on that combat, please?
I'm a little confused as to why someone would make that choice instead of going over here to secure an easier to control point.
Because he's just making sure, because he's worried that he's not going to have the output to clear through them.
That's fair. Looks like one dead Troggoth to some.
So yeah, he really doesn't have many units to move. He's already done. So in Order Draconis' second turn of the game, they moved a unit. They've started to do their Dragon Breath into the Troggoths. And now I think you're going to see some charges. He's elected to keep a unit in combat there, I think. And then you're going to see, there we go. I think this is a charge or
looks
a piling.
like a charge.
And then,
I mean, yeah, we're at a charge from the new unit. And agreed, Dan. We know you can't retreat and hold it in Duality of Death.
And then there we go. The dragon is also charged in, so we're going to see a lot of combat happen now.
I would double or nothing this bet and say that those Troggoths are dead.
I'm not sure. How many are left? There are 4 left.
One of those dragons is charging. +1 to wound, +1 damage on the lance. Yep. I like when you put your mouth on that big black mic.
I'm not.
You got big soft lips.
Yeah,
Rob.
you know it. I'm not sold yet. I think that they're low bravery, though. That's actually the main issue.
The Troggoths?
The Troggoths. That's actually more impactful, because there may be one, but they might...
So do you think that even if they don't all die, you might end up naming the last 2 Troggoths Kale because they'll be Balin?
Maybe.
Potentially.
There we go.
And there's 2 more, 3 more dead.
They are going to get...
There should be 1 Troggoth left.
They're going to get lifted, as they say in Canada. No, yeah, all right, never mind. So, as stated by me, committing that unit of Troggoths has achieved nothing.
Oh, no, that entire unit has been wiped.
Yeah, so...
Lifted.
Yeah, absolutely lifted. It just doesn't make any sense
why... they were killed by the horsies.
Well, the final one was. I mean... I assume the dragons did most of the work.
But why would they get to swing first like that? With a dragon and a horse fighting? I'm not sure that... I think he said horsey death. I wonder if that means... I wonder if he's just being cheeky.
Yeah, I think...
Cheeky John.
I think also not using the terms or really confuse the scenario.
Yeah, big time.
Shots fired or fire shot.
So this should be 1 point for Christian. And Kale will be at 0, so he should be... 2 points.
No, he hasn't even
scored. This is no longer... That's no longer Christian's, but Christian's now held this for 2 turns, so it should be 4-0.
Yes. You scored it, yeah.
We're about to hit priority for turn 3, so...
What up, Canhammer TV?
What would you do with this?
Now, at this stage, I would still give the turn away.
You'd give it away for both players?
Both players should still give it away.
Agreed. Now... Looks like the winner of the roll was Christian with Order Draconis, and he is elected to take priority.
Oh my God. I'm going to have a word with so many people.
It's like they're not watching the stream or something.
If you guys are watching this back, I love you both so much. The reason I say that...
What up, Ken Hammer?
Hi, baby. How you doing?
Welcome to the stream. Thank you for keeping my co-host alive.
Really appreciated.
Appreciate your national
So
help.
what we're going to see from Christian, who's taking the first turn of the 3rd battle round, I think what is a smart play here is defend and consolidate. So effectively what he should do is he should create a screen here with the Dragon Blades, and then he should just hold, because currently that isn't scoring anything. Yeah? Then he can wait, sit up, see if this unit progresses, yeah, and then he can fly over his screen and attack, or he can then do the exact same thing, because this unit's slow as hell. Once it's there, it's not going to have an impact in the game.
So the non-holding unit, it looks like they've run, and based on the way he's positioned their bases, it sure looks like he's setting up a screen, Rob.
Oh my God.
I don't know a lot, but I know what a screen looks like when I see it.
It looks like horses.
Usually when I walk right into it after I open the other door.
It's just horses in a line. There you go, you can see it. So that's the smart play, right? So this unit's going to hit that flat, right? And then he can...
Now, where is this dragon going?
Okay. Disagree. But okay,
right.
interesting. Let's see.
Looks like he's sending both of those dragons up to threaten. Maybe go in. I don't know if their breath will be far enough, but it looks like he's moving them up a little bit. I don't hate that move.
No. So let's look at the tabletop here. So these so what's going to happen is this unit is going to land here,
right?
And they're going to be able to score. So now they're going to score for only 3 battle rounds. So realistically, Christian's...
In order for Kale to win, he's got to claim this from them to stop. Because at this point, now Christian is scoring faster than Kale can. And so in order to win, Kale has got to take that objective off of Christian in order to start to even the scales.
But I'm not 100%...
Did you like my dragon pun?
I didn't hear it.
Even the scales? You need a breath of fresh air, don't you? So Christian is scoring 3 points on this objective here.
Yep.
And that's going to give him another... So he's going to be at 7 to Kale's 0.
It's going to be big.
It's looking like an uphill battle for the Trogs.
Yes, because the Trogs didn't try and score on the first turn. Not the first turn, the second turn.
They needed to move up and force these dragons out of their swamp.
Yes, absolutely. They just need to kick it. And we're still are we still in Draconis' turn, or we moved into Gitz' turn?
What was your question? Gitz' turn now.
So the Gloomspite Gitz are now active in their turn 3. Is what we're seeing. So 7 points to 0. Pretty important there.
It looks like the moon has just moved off the table. So the moon was never in really a useful position.
Oh, we have not been tracking the moon at all.
They've been tracking, but it hasn't been relevant terribly.
It can't. Yes, it's not really particularly relevant to
Trogs.
To Trogs.
Agreed.
But it's usually useful.
So we're going to see a scoring unit come here and try to hold as long as possible, and everything else has to swarm, right? Everything else has to move to the left.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, Tomb King Tristan. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you.
Do we need anything? If you want to grab me a beer, that'd be great, because I'm almost out of mine, but otherwise you're pretty good.
Right.
Is smoothie what you call your hands? Because they are soft AF.
Because of the command ability in Uglu, you can see the command points on the board there. Christian has 0 and Kale has 5.
I wonder if he's been rolling for speed of light to see if he can teleport his units.
I don't think he will have been doing.
It seems like he has not.
It's not Uglu. This is Heesh, right?
Heesh.
This is Heesh, not Uglu. So he's going to be able to. He is going to be able to make units strike first.
Correct.
So this unit of Troggoths, and even the Troggoth Hag herself, will be able to all activate first into them if they want to. They obviously can because the charges
since
anyway.
Christian has no command points.
Guys, Alblini, if you actually look on the website, no, there's an image up. Just go onto the.
I've got the tournament pack here. So we're looking at game 3 today. Is going to be starting at 4:15 until 7 p.m. So this game is going to be over by 4 o'clock. Although this game might be over by 2:45, realistically.
Yeah, this is going to be a quick game, but realistically,
a quickie dicky.
Yeah, but realistically, that's what happens with these sorts of armies. So British.
Yeah, quickie dicky.
As we progress, I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. As we progress through T-Sports coverage, eventually we will be doing all sorts of funky stuff in between.
We've got a bunch of interviews going on, especially if this game ends early. I'm going to take the mic and just go ham in the field.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And which is really unkosher, being a Jew and going ham. Might as well go...
and there's the T.O. What a good-looking man.
What a good-looking
What
T.O.
a good-looking T.O. If you've ever been to Nashville, he's just a great-looking T.O. Not only is he a good T.O., he's a great-looking T.O. That's exactly what you want out of them.
I would go as far to describe him as a daddy. A daddy.
I actually think he's a zaddy, which is completely
Since
different.
11 days ago. I don't think he got that I was referring to his son. I think he thought I was trying to hit on him. I could do a lot worse.
Right, so on the tabletop.
Squirrel, can you repeat that, please?
So John.
So we've got the Trog boss running over. Can you give me that again? Okay, so the Troggoths are running over to claim that objective.
Okay, so let's have a look at that on the tabletop. Smashing work there, Colin. So, of course, they're going to go over here and claim that. These 3, so both the Troggoth Hag and the 3 Troggoths are aiming to hit in here. They're going to get countercharged, or they won't.
Or whoever wins priority is going to get the second charge.
Yeah, so potentially this could be a game-winning move. Hits the shield wall of the hits the shield wall there, charges through. Potentially
it also
wins.
depends on how the puking goes. Depends on the shooting. Because if you can clear this chaff wall, suddenly we're getting a really good charge here. And to answer your question, what factions are coming next, we don't know. It's based on what the matchups hold.
Yeah.
It's a unit of 2 Dankholds and 1 Dankhold Trog boss.
Yeah,
but those are not battle line.
I mean,
the only one that can score is the general.
The general.
He is a hero.
And there's a lot of them there as well.
That's
also,
a lot of wounds.
It's a lot of wounds, but you need to keep the one alive. This unit of Fanatics, who've done an amazing job so far.
So
if they
far,
get
those
the priority
Fanatics have
roll,
done more fighting than anything else in Kale's army.
Yeah. So this charge, by the way, let me just tell you what I if I don't want to see, if I can get that little bit closer in here, like what I don't want to see at all is this charge, and I don't want to see it go
Colin,
straight.
Can you zoom in on the dragon next to the big building?
It's okay. What I don't want to see is a charge here, because
Why is that?
because that means this unit's going to be locked in and get free combat back. What I want to see is this unit go here. The Troggoth Princess stay here, stay clear with a 3-inch gap, then win the priority, loop around, take the objective. That's the only way to win the game. The Fanatics can come round and deal with this threat here on the priority. But if he goes straight, what he's going to be doing, unless he kills this unit, if he wins the priority, he doesn't give himself the opportunity to win the game. All he does is gives himself the opportunity to fight there again.
He would have to use the Speed of Light ability or Hand of Gork to get away.
But then he wouldn't be able to charge if he'd Hand of Gork, because it would be a different
It's
retreat.
a setup. A setup doesn't count as a retreat.
It doesn't matter. It's
But
still
he'd still be
9.
9 inches away.
Yeah.
He also has enough command points to re-roll it as much as he wants.
Yeah, but once. Yeah.
The Fellwaters are now breathing onto the dragon lord or the dragon blades? Okay, onto the chaff wall, the horsies.
Yeah. So he's taking. So interesting choice there.
That is very interesting. I'm really interested to see what happens on the next vomit, or if he's going to end up removing models because of coherency.
Yeah. So that was from the Troggoth Hag.
No, from the Fellwaters.
Fellwater. So Troggoth Hag now. That's a lot of ones, unfortunately. There. In that.
What's interesting is he has the command points to spend on re-rolling his ones to hit, but he hasn't been spending them.
No,
he's got command points to use, and by not using them, he's leaving options on the table.
That's a good point. It's a really good point. So some wounds.
The hag herself is actually spitting on the dragon, and he's got 4 wounds remaining.
So okay. So
He's
again,
almost dead.
another example of
Spitting fire.
Spitting fire.
Because I spit hot fire.
So splitting the attacks there, again, not really doing what we expected. So yeah, he's going straight
The queen
line.
has charged 5 inches. She's in with the dragon blades. I'm very curious if she's within 3 inches of the dragon.
I am also
increasingly curious. The Fellwater Trogs are charging.
So here we see them locked in at the bottom there. Oh dear me is the only thing I got to say. So
and the princess is within 3 of the dragon.
Okay, so the correct activation is the Fellwaters.
Go first with Heesh there.
Yes.
Clear the chaff wall. Send the princess in to mop up.
I don't know much of his co-fire. Does he get that money immediately? He does.
Tomb King Tristan, I only ignore you when you're an asshole.
So I think he gets that money immediately, FYI. Never seen them do well. It seems like it's truth.
Fellwaters first against the Dragon Blade swinging here.
Okay, that's the
I
right
don't know
decision.
if they're swinging first or if it's an activation order.
It should be
That was
activation.
not. It shouldn't be. It should be using the command ability.
So you mean he should go Realm of Light and then Realm of Light again?
Agreed.
Agreed. However, that unit there...
I just hope... Yeah.
That is the Sword of Judgment Marathi. With... Yeah, we go. So
and I don't know if the horn has been activated, but I think it's probably too late now to activate it.
Yeah.
That happened at the beginning of the combat phase. But it's still... Well, and she's got a 4-up DPR. So even though the Sword of Judgment does a bunch of mortal wounds, she's going to shrug half of them.
She is, but you could do...
Ostensibly. She could also shrug none of them or all of them.
The Fellwaters, though, have not failed.
The Fellwaters have cleared the chaff wall.
So we're here now. This is the interesting point. Are we going to see the Troll Hag go in? No, we're not. He hasn't used the Speed of Light command ability.
No, they have not. So
you're going to be
dragon.
upset about that.
I'm very upset.
So now
I lost a game to David, the Muscle Man Griffin this way, by not using the Realm of Light ability when I should have. Yep. All the attacks are going on the Troggoth hag. Now she's -1 to hit, so the Sword of Judgment shouldn't be able to activate.
Pardon me?
The Sword of Judgment should not be able to activate because she should be -1 to hit.
Is it on 6+? Not natural 6s?
It's 6+.
Right, so then it's fine. Then it's safe.
I hope Kale remembers. I hope he doesn't bail on remembering his rules. I agree.
So we'll find out what the dice rolls are when we get to the table. And then, but is
like
this Dragon Lord gonna kill the Troll Princess? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Do you think she kills it back?
No, she does
Only
not in
4
combat.
wounds remaining.
Maybe, but I'm not sure. But see how you like. If it doesn't, it's game. She's locked himself in.
If it does, it may be game also. Well, and then. So the attacks on the hag have been saved. Nothing went through.
So is the hag going to attack back and do the kill? That's the question.
I think she'll attack back.
Is she going to do? Yeah, she has to legally, but will she get the kill in? 4 wounds left on that Dragon Lord.
Sorry.
4 wounds.
But actually, the Trog hag did just take 4 damage, so she's taken 7 total. So she's got 9 remaining. I wonder if that knocks her down a profile enough. Here goes her pile-in.
Here we go, everyone.
This is the big moment. I love
excited?
seeing the back of his head. I
Everyone's
wish I had this section of hair there. Oh, never mind. I was going to point to any part of his head for the record. Right there. I don't have, like, that all there would be a blinding mass for me. I wonder if I can put it in a better color. No, this is just me. This is just me hating myself.
Maliki, I also agree. You could have also done that as well. The Troll Hag only had to do the charge, stay 3 inches away, wipe the blades out, and then pile in. But then he still would have got to attack back, Maliki. But he would have got to attack first as opposed to taking the damage.
Oh, we've got Enthor in the chat. That's what? Joseph Urban, one of my truest and dearest bosom buddy friends.
Massive fan of Joseph Urban, by the way.
4 damage exactly from the Trog hag. We have a dead dragon.
Lefted. That's right. So that's another dead Dragon Lord.
One attack did that.
One attack. Oh, he got a cheer there.
And that's the second dead. Oh, is that Christian's general? That's his secondary. So now Christian's secondary has been achieved. His general is dead. So he has achieved his hootenanny.
His hootenanny. His secret objective has been cleared. So now the priority roll here is massive. Because what you actually want to do is take this unit of Dragon Blades, but which I think there's only 2 left.
They can't leave.
Little bit. Oh, no.
They can't leave.
Well, then you need a dragon in the way. And you just want to hold on for dear life. That's what needs to happen.
It looks to me, even though Kale has a massive point disadvantage, it looks like the game is his to win.
So 2
We've
points.
got some healing going on.
Yeah, so it's going to be 2 points. No, hold on.
1 point.
So it's going to be 2. What? This is what?
Kale is going to score 1 point for this turn.
So 1 point for the objective on the right-hand side.
Now, if Kale wins priority, I think he'll win the game. But if Christian... he's...
Well, because then why else would he be... How else would he be healing?
I don't know if they heal at the end. There's no way for them to heal.
So we're just getting an update on the scores, and we'll get an update of where we are in the game.
I'm just getting an update that the unit that was holding... So the Dankhold Troggoth is more than 3 inches away from the objective, so he's unable to score it. It's 3.1 inches away, just a cock's hair out of range.
A bee's dick away.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd love to have that kind of length and market penetration, but as of now.
And then the priority roll has happened, but it's happened. The priority roll has happened. Priority rolls happened?
It looks like the priority rolls happened, and it looks like Kale has 1 priority.
Perfect. So, as stated.
How did and looks like we've got a teleported unit of Fanatics over here. Looks like they've been lifted from where they were before.
So, the only way now, that means that, again, Kale is on 0 points for his turn 3, Colin.
If he does not take this objective, he loses.
Yeah, if he does this turn, if he doesn't take this objective, he loses. If he takes this objective, he wins the game. But he has to take it with a scoring unit. And that scoring unit has to kill the unit that's holding it, which is that unit of Dragon Blades. These Fanatics are not a scoring unit. However, that unit of Fellwater Troggoths are, and this Troll Hag is just hidden here, is not. But she's going to be able to...
She's a hero.
She's a hero, yeah, you're right, sorry. But she's going to be able to spend her command points to make everything if they get all of the charges off in here, they'll
make
all
them
strike
fight
first.
And also could give them reroll ones to hit as well, as long as we're at it. Now, here's my concern. Even if only the Fanatics go in, let's say they wipe those Dragon Blades, we can still have this dragon claiming it.
Yeah, he has to kill everything in one turn.
Right.
Yeah, which is why I was talking
But
about.
the thing is, if this dragon then claims it after the Fanatics wipe the Dragon Blades, it'll reset the counter back to 1 because this unit has only controlled it for 1 turn.
Yes.
So it'll put a stop to the bleeding, but at this point, Kale needs to be scoring.
He massively has to.
It looks like Christian, in an act of good sportsmanship, has reminded Kale that he forgot to bring back his grots.
Oh, that's nice.
But it was after the end of the turn, so it was too late.
Leka, she is a heroine. She is the mightiest and noblest of ladies.
And it looks like she's moving now. Oh, we switched cameras. That's what's going on. I thought things looked upside down. The princess is moving up into position.
Yeah, so the Gitz can score 2 this turn for 1 and 1.
And then it'll be 4 next turn, so they still can't win.
Ah.
There's mathematically this game's already over.
You sure this was 1 on turn 1?
Nope. Scored both.
You're right. Well, okay. Well, that's really just made it disappointing for us. We've just worked it out.
Yeah.
Thank you to Minimum Paints. That's correct. Matt Lay. As we're doing all of the conversation, sometimes we don't just take a moment. So, yeah, correct. So should have engaged earlier.
I wonder if Kale used a command point to sprint his Trog boss over. That could only get them a tie. At that point, it'd be 7-7 if he stops Christian from scoring for the rest of the game.
It is unfortunately a
mathematical impossibility.
So we'll just see what happens in this combat. We'll wait for this turn to be over. And then I've heard Mr. Jacob Berry is going to go into the field. We've got an interview from yesterday, and then we're going to go into the field and see what's happening around the room and find out
I'm particularly interested in finding out what's going on with that Daughters of Cain versus Slanesh face-off on the waterboard.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. We don't know right now. Yes, it's a tough scenario here. Let's get to the top down again. So the combat, as you can see, both the Troggoths and the and the Troll Princesses got in, but the Fanatics have not got in, which is really sad.
It's very impactful. Oh, it looks like so we're going into combat now.
Yeah, so that's not going to.
But it looks like Christian has activated the Doppelganger Cloak, which again would only be able to do if Kale didn't use the realm ability to swing first. Activation Wars. It's not just for Feck and Slanesh anymore.
Yeah, we've all got the points. You've got command points for days, Kale. You could have activated here.
Reroll the charge up here. Not that any of it matters.
No, because as we've said, the points are over. But it's
like whose line it is anyway. The points are all made up, and none of it matters.
And the game never matters. But this game did. Can we just get the top down again, please, Colin? That would be sweet potatoes. So as you can see here, it's been all about these 2 objectives, which are now swamped. But realistically, it was all about that.
Was that an ogre pun?
Huh? Yeah.
The objectives are swamped?
In my swamp.
I gotta say, it seems to me that Christian's pretty polished with this list, and it's very clear he's practiced his scales.
Yeah. Oh wait, the Fanatics. No, the Fanatics are not in. So that's right, Rograx. Order Draconis. Again, one of their. We've had Free Peoples and Order Draconis. They're some of their last legs out in the world.
It's nice to see them doing well. We've got a question on the status of Joseph Pagano if he's passed out under a table. From the looks of it, he's playing a tight game against Slanesh, but it doesn't look like he's passed out yet.
No, he's still sober, which is excellent work.
It's a hot take, and it's a little unfortunate one, but it looks like he's going to be mostly sober this tournament because his wife and kid are in town.
They are indeed. So it's definitely a win for Order Draconis as we see this final combat play through.
It's unable to not be a win.
Yeah, it's not the final round. So it's not the final. This game's going to continue, and there's still like an hour left of the round here.
Correction, there's an hour and a half.
In Nashville. You will be able to see our updates. We're going to be bringing you some more information. I agree, Anthony, it is sad. There was some potential to win the game, but I would also say I really do feel that Christian played quite recklessly with the initial charge, but He's ended up the victor, so who the fuck am I to talk?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody.
I agree.
You're a pretty face and a tight ass.
Did you guys enjoy the game? I think it was interesting, right?
I thought it was good until the math said it wasn't a game.
Yes, that was sad. That was sad. Getting it worked out there by the Twitch chat for us, but I appreciate you doing so.
Good job, Kyle, in the chat.
So in the combats, Troll Hag is still alive. Troll.
Troggoth Hag. You got this. You can do it.
Still alive, although some Troggoths are dying.
It looks like some of the Fellwaters, have just been wiped out by the dragon.
Well, this is sad because we all wanted to see a cracking game, and it came down to the maths at the end.
I think it was a cracking game for the time that the game was a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just happens to have been only an hour and 40-minute game instead of a 2.5 hour game.
That's just the realistic realism.
Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, absolutely. So in a minute we're going to line up an interview with some other people from around the that we recorded yesterday. Have you got one? So we're going to line up one of those, and then we're going to do an interview with the players once they've finished their game, and then we're going to do some other interviews from around the room, which is exciting. We haven't got our infield reporter today. Mr. Chucklebutty's away. He's still in the UK of all bloody places.
He's still just laughing and having an ass.
What the hell? Which is good. You're on, and then we'll be back for our third and final game of the Nashcon 2019 tournament.
Looks like the dragon's taken some wounds, but it's not yet fallen.
It's not fallen. We'll wait for this combat to resolve in these dying dregs. Turn 5, there'll be not much to say here.
It looks like the rest of this game is about as impactful as a stripper's STD test.
Or a Games Workshop FAQ.
Ooh. Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Boom. And might I add, roasted.
Roasted. There we go. Right. Going live to an interview that we had yesterday. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Honest Wargamer, presented by the Rage of Sigmar podcast conglomerate entertainment suite. We have with us today the boy legend, Isaiah Remchek. Isaiah, how you doing today?
Good.
Welcome back to the show, and by back I mean for the first time ever, because you're like, what, 12, 13 now?
17.
Oh, goodness. In one whole year, he can buy lottery tickets, cigars, and porn. We're super excited about this, ladies and gentlemen. So, Isaiah, you've been sort of taking the AOS Midwest scene by storm. You're the boy wonder. You're the prodigy. You're the one who was chosen. Now, when I've been perusing through your previous list to this point, it doesn't look like you've been playing a lot of Slaanesh, but I noticed you brought 2 Slaanesh lists to this tournament. Talk to me about why you made that change and what that looks like for you in this tournament.
I brought Slaanesh because I'm loaning out my other armies to friends, and then also because Slaanesh is currently like the top 4 armies, and I feel that it's probably one of the best armies to go 5-0.
Sounds great. Now, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Slaanesh is the list for friendship and love and caring people worldwide in AOS. Now, I'm looking at the Slaanesh list, and it seems like it sort of plays in a specific way, but because of summoning, you can sort of play in a bunch of different ways and be a little bit more flexible. In your practice games, which I assume you've played, how have you found it to be a more flexible list? No, you haven't played any. Okay. How do you think Slaanesh plays more flexibly than other armies, and what do you think that looks like on the table?
Being able to make somebody fight last.
End of list?
Summoning.
End of list?
Pretty much.
That sounds good. So you want to your goal is to make people fight last and bring on way more models than they have.
That's the goal.
That is really clever. I'm glad you had that insight into Warhammer. Now, Isaiah, do you have goals or sort of ideas of what you expect from this tournament with this new list? It's powerful, and you're a very clever player, but it's still very new for you. So what are your expectations coming into this tournament?
I would like to go at least like 4-1.
Cool. Are there any scenarios you think are a struggle for you, or sort of secondary objectives that tend to be more difficult for you to achieve?
No, Slaanesh doesn't really have too many like mission-based like weaknesses. The weaknesses are like matchups. Like I would say like Flesh Eater Courts with Doppelganger Cloak is probably the weakest thing for Slaanesh. because you can really just screw them over with Doppelganger Cloak, because you can say like fight at the end, so then I can't swing at all with my keepers, because some people might not think about it, because Flesh Eater Courts can kill 2 keepers easily with 1 dragon.
Right, absolutely. Now, when I think about Slaanesh, it sort of is more in the mold of Daughters of Cain, where you fight so much better than most people, and you have so much more control over the combat phase predominantly. Would you say that it plays better to objectives than most armies, or it just plays better to fighting and combat and summoning, and because of that you can then play the objective game better than most?
I don't think it really plays the objective game strong, because it doesn't have the armor save to play the objective game, causing it to have to play the combat phase for the objective game. Because like Demonettes are the 5-up save, but they can go and rampage through an objective, and then if you put like a mask or like a herald in the middle of that block, now technically the objective, some people might say, I would count as the combat phase, is gonna make that unit fight last. Demonettes will kill that unit that came to counter the objective. Then that's dead. That's your objective forever.
Sure. So when I think about, like you just said, based on that premise, armies that have staying power, so Nurgle, some versions of Death, and even Daughters of Cain tend to have a lot of staying power, and that lets them play the objective game better. What does it look like for you to combat those armies? What's your strategy going in to try to attack those? Don't worry, this isn't live, so you're not giving away any tactics to anybody.
I wouldn't care either way.
Good.
In order to fight something like Daughters of Cain, I would want to like outdrop them, because without their buffs, honestly, you can really hit them hard, because they don't spend a lot of command points. Without like Witch Brew, not immune to Battle Shock. Their Bravery 6, I think, base, something like that. Not too high. You can kill a bunch, make some run. Choose which unit. Good. Nurgle, that one's gonna be hard, but Plague Bearers, not gonna kill anything. So you run, I don't know, maybe the Mask in there. The Mask ain't gonna die for at least 3 rounds versus 30 Plague Bearers. So that's their question. Are you gonna retreat from the Mask, go run on the objective? The Mask is gonna chase that Plague Bearer unit forever.
Right.
So that's gonna just be an infinite combat.
Yeah. Terrific. Now, my last question for you is, when you think about Slaanesh, and you've obviously thought about a lot of the matchups, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for you outside of maybe Feck? And you clearly have thought about some of these matchups for you. So what do you think is going to be either the biggest matchup problem for you, or in specific scenarios where you might get caught out against a random army that might sort of throw you a wrench?
Well, so like I have played like a few practice games. Like I play against my dad, who plays like Bloodthirster, Council of Blood.
Shout out to Mark Ramchek.
Council of Blood, I think, is a really hard matchup, because it's immediately, and he likes to run the 4-up I fight first and the double fight, the Reapers of Vengeance, that's what it is, that combo, and that works really well versus Slaanesh. So like that can throw a wrench into your plan, because like I almost lost one of our practice games because he got it off, and then he double fought and killed like one of my keepers turn 1, because I thought that because he outpositioned. Like he like deployed wrong, but then it was like he got the 4-up, and it's like, oh well, you get to fight. Yeah. So there goes my plan. Right. So that stuff happens. So like that, like if like you can get, so Slaanesh has the maneuverability to outmaneuver a lot of people, but there is armies like Deepkin that have that equal maneuverability to try and outmaneuver you. So it's like those equal counterparts. Or just another Slaanesh army that can be like, we're going to just have a fair game.
Right. I was having a conversation earlier today that mirror matches in some ways are the most interesting games, because it's really just down to player skill and maybe list construction. Now, speaking of list construction, Nashcon is a 2-list system. How have you designed your 2 lists to either complement each other or cover each other's weaknesses, so you can make sure you're punishing your opponents for taking one, or like one, let's say, skew list that you can then counter with one of your other 2 Slaanesh lists?
I have one that's like 2 drops if somebody's like really like, I need this like first turn something, because that's like the lowest I could find with Slaanesh. And then I have one, I think it's 5 or 4 drops, which is also a pretty low drops. Sure. But it's all about the heroes in either one. So it's essentially, they're pretty similar lists. Right. So like they do the same kind of thing. One of them's 30 Demonettes, one of them's not. That's the main difference in them.
So the difference is bodies and drops.
Yeah.
Terrific. Any shout outs you'd like to make to the viewers at home, or friends you've made in the AOS community who aren't going to be here at Nashcon?
I don't actually know who isn't here at Nashcon, but I guess Playing and Slaying's here at Nashcon, and they're a pretty cool podcast. That man over there, he's real chill. I met him at Adepticon. We had a great talk. He doesn't like how I describe things in Warhammer though, because I said that Skaven was really cool, and he does not like how I use cool.
Shots fired. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. The Boy Wonder thinks Skaven are cool, and Rob is not. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with our game in a minute. I'll catch you in a minute. I'm sorry. I love you. And we are back here at Nashcon 2019. I may not be your field reporter, the sexy Dan from the robot future of sex, but I am Jacob Berry, and we're here to talk a little bit about some of the games we got going on. We got a really tight game going on right here. We're in turn 4 with Flesh Eater Courts playing against Ideneth Deepkin. Now, Ideneth jumped out to an early lead by controlling both objectives, but as soon as they did that, the Flesh Eater Courts were able to swarm one objective, and they've been in a stalemate ever since. It looks like the Flesh Eater Courts player has been holding off to his side to keep control of his objective, which makes sense. It's a very conservative move, but he's taking control of his side. Meanwhile, the Ideneth player has control of his side, and he's moving his unit of eels, that really destructive force, across his opponent's side. It looks like this is going to come down to the very last turn to see if the Flesh Eater Courts player can take the other objective to pull out that draw and then make it maybe a minor victory, but it's looking really tight over here. Right behind me, I've got Iron Jaws versus Fire Slayers, 2 big hordes, and as of right now, the Iron Jaws are beating the big bad boogeyman of the Fire Slayers. Now the question is, can that unit of Hearthguard Berserkers get in and beat up those brutes, duff them up real good, or is it going to be all for naught? It looks like we're in turn 3 here, and it's going to be a real tight one. The last game I want to draw your attention to right now is over here on the waterboarding table, the waterboard, and we're looking at Daughters of Cain versus Slaanesh. Now, Daughters of Cain threw Morathi out early to control the objective, which is a really canny play because it takes a minimum of 4 turns to kill Morathi. Meanwhile, a ton of witches surrounded the other objective, and being battle line, they're able to control it. Isaiah, the Boy Wonder, is throwing everything he's got at that unit of witches to try to gain control of it. Meanwhile, there's Hellstriders, a couple other units over here that eventually will whittle down Morathi because that Endless spell is going to really just wear her down bit by bit by bit. So it's a really tight race over here, and we're looking really healthy. And we're going to go back to Rob in just a second. Here we go, back to Rob.
Thanks very much there, Jacob. And I'm sure there's loads more hot guys. I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching. You guys have been brilliant. Keep tuned in with us as we go through the day. There'll be more videos out on Facebook, and there'll be more videos out on Twitch. We've got a 3rd game coming, but I'm sure we've got more interviews or more updates from the field. Just letting Jacob have a minute to catch his breath. I think that's the right decision. I'm not sure. We're kind of flying by look, you know, the Honest Wargamer, right? We're up front, we're honest. We're flying by the seat of our pants. There's like too few of us trying to do too much. I'm sure it's the same in your workplace as well, but I hope you guys are enjoying it. Thank you for being rad. At any point, we'll go to Jacob whenever he wants, but I was going to let those guys. Aren't I good at just sending my voice? I think it's cool. Right, we can go to Jacob whenever we want, and we're live. Not now, in a minute, soon, whenever they like.
And we're here with Cale Thompson, the wonderful and gracious loser of this last game we just had on stream. Cale, how are you, man?
Doing well. Thank you for asking.
I'm really glad you made it. I'm going to be honest, there was some talk of if you were going to bail or not, and you made it to the show. Now, I was looking at the score. It looks like you bailed on scoring objectives. What was your thinking going into that game?
Man, you know, Troggoths are really dumb, so they just go for the first thing that they can see, and unfortunately, points weren't the thing they saw. You know, they went to kill things.
Absolutely. Now, you've been running these Trogs for a little bit now. It's a really beautifully painted army, and you probably know most of the matchups that you expect to see in the meta, but coming up against Order Draconis presents a bunch of really different and interesting challenges. I'd love to know what your mindset was in how you were going to approach this specific matchup.
Wow, they're fast. Turn 1, wow, yeah. You know, I knew I could stack some debuffs on them to try to survive the impact on turn 1. But, man, it's a cool army. You know, it really is. The speed they have and then the damage they can put out it's a cool little mix.
Absolutely. Now, I know you haven't been playing this specific list in tournament too much. It's rather a new list for you. Yeah. And I'm curious, what specific things stood out as being useful or worth their points, and what things do you think may have been an overexpenditure that didn't make up their points?
Sure. You know, the Dankholds didn't do anything this round. actually at all. So that's they're not efficient with points, but they're definitely a good little unit. The Fellwaters, they're a good unit. They did their thing. I sent them in there to try and tank up the unit over there, and unfortunately I just couldn't get there quick enough. So thanks, baby.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to get Christian over here now. We're going to talk about the game. Take care, Kale. 3, 2, 1. Christian, congrats on the win, man.
Hey, thanks. Yeah.
So, Kale's army is a pretty unique one, and I know you play sort of off-the-wall lists, and you're sort of used to playing, you know what to expect in the meta. Yeah. But in this matchup, you're facing something I imagine you haven't really played against before in this. What was your mindset going in? What was your process?
I knew that he had grots, but I didn't know which type of grots he had. And because of that, it was sort of like, because I played Gloomspite for about, I don't know, 3-4 tournaments this year. So I was like, sweet, Gloomspite, I know what I'm doing. This is fantastic. Unfortunately, he played an all-troll army, which is the one part of Grots I didn't know. So, yeah, just negatives to hit, just all over the place. So my dragons at game 1 did like 100 wounds when they went in. Now suddenly did 5.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. We were definitely rooting for you to get those breaths off, and then when you didn't really do much, that seemed like a bit of a struggle. When you think about this scenario, what do you think let you succeed in this scenario compared to how Kale sort of struggled to score points?
Just that he deployed nothing on that side of the table, and his whole army moved 6.
Absolutely, yeah. Movement is obviously key. Now, it sounds to me like, or you've told me in the past, this might be a send-off for this army. So do you have specific goals, or what are you hoping to get out of this tournament for your last hurrah with this army?
Basically, I don't care if I win or lose. I was just like, I just want to like have fun every game, and enjoy myself with this army before it goes away.
Nice. Now, when I look at Order Draconis, I sort of think it's not great at every matchup, but it has certain matchups in the meta that it's really good at. And you can beat a lot of top-tier armies with it because just certain matchups are good. I wonder if you could tell us, what do you think are some of the S-tier or top-tier matchups that you actually fare really well against that most armies sort of struggle with?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I know the answer to that one. I haven't played them that much before this tournament, but I feel like any army that can deploy like 6 inches behind their line is going to do really well against Order Draconis. Like we charge, and then if we can't kill you in turn 1, we can't kill you. So.
Right. Yeah. It's all on that first turn, or you're sort of fucked. Busted. I didn't say that. You said that. Anyway, we're going to cut back to Rob now. Thank you so much, Chris. Congratulations. Oh, bring it in, you big sweaty hunk of love. And we're going back to Rob in 3, 2, 1, and my pants.
Sweet chariot, come along and carry me home. Oh, hello. Being English, I often just sit and sing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Welcome back to The Honest War Game. I'm your host, Rob, and I'm live in Nashville. Nashville's a great place, by the way. I'm digging it. It's fun. There's a lot of cool tournaments. The armies are fucking crazy. Now, I've talked about this a ton of times, I don't like display boards. Someone makes me take display boards. But the armies here, because the display boards are radical, and I'm really enjoying them. So they're sweet. I imagine we're going to be getting some updates in a moment from the field. Is that not the plan? That is the plan. Okay, great. So that means I'm just going to riff with you guys and just say hi. I hope you enjoyed the coverage so far. John and Colin have been doing a fantastic job, as have Jacob. Jacob, by the way, is like an electric bunny. You can't stop him. Goblins too slow. Goblins are slow, you're right. The main issue was there was no, when you have a slow army, you have to know how you're going to go forward later on in the game. There was no plan for that, right? You got to grab objectives ASAP. And also just make use of those command abilities in field, and also make the correct target priority choices. Just throwing away 6 Trogos at the end was not particularly useful, but they could have been running across the board at any point, and they could have been multi-charging at the right moment. There were there's loads you could look back at that game and learn from, and that's what lots of us should do. Always important to look at the highlights. So both the competitors enjoyed it. And that's really all I've got. I'm ready to jump over to our infield reporter at any moment, I'm almost certain. I'm going to double check and make sure he's ready to rock. Is he ready to rock? He might be. How are you guys feeling? Let's get personal. I've enjoyed my 2 weeks away. It's been really fun. But I have not enjoyed not doing any hobby. You're going to do that when you're doing live streaming. I get to do the live streaming though. That's great fun. I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. we also don't get to do play any games. Just got to watch people play games, which breaks my fucking heart because I want to play some Warhammer. That's all I've got. I'm sorry, Karchev, that I just swore. I really want to. I really, really, really want to do that. So right now, with no more ado, I'm going to go over to Mr. Jacob Berry.
All right, and I'm here at a table with Stormcast versus Nurgle. Now, that may not sound like that interesting of a combination, but this Stormcast list is running 6. That's right, 6 Tempesters. Now, the Tempesters are over here holding the objective from Rodigus, and it looks like Rodigus is not going to be able to do much to stop them. On the other side, looks like 30 Plague Bearers are fighting off 3 Paladors and 5 Liberators, which it looks like they're going to be able to hold off. So we've got a really tightly contested game here that it looks like is never going to shift off of a tie. I'm pretty sure that's all Nurgle ever does, is never get shifted off of a tie, so it's going to come down to kill points. Now, based on what people have on their sideboards, it looks like we got a couple Prosecutors off the table for the Stormcast side, maybe a hero or 2. But otherwise, it looks like the Stormcast has really not lost very much. In terms of what Nurgle has lost, it doesn't look like there's been many casualties on this side, but it looks like only 30 Plague Bearers have been killed from the Nurgle side. So it looks like it may be a minor win to the Stormcast, but if Nurgle can grind off enough, it's going to be enough. Now at the table behind me over here, if you'll follow me back, we've got Ironjaws against Flesh Eater Courts. The battle of the old filth and what could potentially become the new filth. Not sure it is quite yet, but it's getting there. We've got this entire half of the table is controlled by the Ironjaws, and it doesn't look like the Flesh Eater Courts have much of a way to get over there. Unless they're running Blister Skin or they roll really well on the Realm ability, they're not going to be able to get over here and claim the objective off of the Ironjaws. Meanwhile, 100 brutes, it's not actually 100 brutes, probably like 30 brutes, are swarming the other objective and are threatening the Vampire Lord, or I'm sorry, the Ghoul King on Zombie Dragon. It looks like it's going to be pretty tight for the brutes to kill him. If he gets a chance to swing, they could all be dead, but there is a lot going for the Ironjaws player right now. I know the Ironjaws player is up by 1 point right now. We're in the 3rd turn, but it could swing hard for the Ironjaws in just a minute. Now, moving over a table, we've got Sean Clark from Detroit, one of the top Feck players in the country, playing against my buddy Sam, who's running his it looks like some Brass Stampede has got some Bloodbound going on in here. This game looks like it's really tight. The Feck seem to be holding both objectives currently, but there's a massive bodies that the Bloodbound could be bringing to bear that might be able to help them swing the game. Now, I'm actually going to go ahead and toss back to Rob for a minute while I go get my next guest for an interview. So here comes Rob, eventually. Did I mention...
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Honest Wargamer. I am excited to be back talking to you about Warhammer. So, what have we learned so far? We've learned that shooting does okay, and we've learned that you need movement to get into objective range. That's the 2 takeaways from the games we've seen so far here at Nashcon 2019. What else have I learned? I've learned that the terrain and boards are pretty excellent here at Nashcon. The models are pretty sweet. There's some great painting. And I've also learned everyone here is real nice and real kind. So I've learned a lot of good stuff, really, and that's all I really have. You guys got any questions? That's my main shtick right now. There's a man there with the biggest bottle of Jack Daniels I've ever seen. What else? What else can I tell you guys? When we get back to the UK, we're actually going to be covering like 6 Age of Sigmar events in the next couple of months. There's loads. There's a London Grand Tournament that we'll be covering, as well as Crimbobo coming up. We've got a ton of stuff. There is one Skaven army here, and it is all, check this out, all Clan Scryer, which is absolutely bonkers. There's way too many. There's 8 Khorne armies. There are 8 Flesh Eater Courts armies. There are 5 Slaanesh. There are 5 Gloomspite Gitz. There are 3 Tzeentch as well, which I think is pretty cool, and 3 Stormcast. So there's loads of those guys. What made you pick Nashcon? It's a very small event compared to what I've seen you cover before. Well, we were already in. We got asked to come and do it, basically. If people will pay for us to fly places and do coverage, it's pretty much all the encouragement we need to go and do an event effectively. So plus everyone who I know here, like there's some pretty cool people here who I've known for years. I also like the idea of helping grow events from small to large. So being here like gets the name out there, puts it on the map, which is cool. You get to see some great tournaments, and then in a couple of years this could be as large as the other larger events. When we first covered Bobo, it was 100, and then it eventually became 200. Right now, over to Mr. Jacob Berry with an interview from our infield reporter.
And we are back. I'm standing here with David Davey Fields, the 2018 Nashcon champion, here to repeat his performance from last year. How you doing, David?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for asking. So you brought a similar list this year, or similar lists this year to last year, and clearly you were the head and shoulders winner of last year's tournament. I'm curious what you used from your success last year in designing your lists for this year.
Well, the meta has changed completely, and a lot of the lists, especially the Slanish things, will make you swing last, so they're really strong against melee armies. And so I made my list for this year, the same Tyrants of Blood as last year. It was called Council last year. And I'm doing the Bloodlords.
Sure.
So 2 of them have artifacts that let them swing first. One does it automatically, and one does it on a 4-up. So even if I get charged, it's really strong against Flesh Eater Courts, things like that, even if I get charged. So it activates all the Bloodthirsters. So if one swings, they swing in succession until they all have swung in the combat phase. So if one swings first, all of them go. And how it's strong against Slanish is if you screen well, I can pile in 6 inches and be eligible to fight within 6. So screen 5 inches away, they'll run into my screen, blow it up, and then I'll activate one of the Bloodthirst, the command ability, to swing within 6, be eligible to fight within 6. And one of them go, and then all 4 of them can go. So it's really strong against Slaanesh. It's really strong against most melee armies. So that's what I figured would be here. And I lost a lot of movement. The Blood Hunt went away. Lost all the 2d6 free movement. So I went to a Murder Host, add 2 to run and charge rolls, and that gives me a 3rd artifact. So
you're running 2 battalions, and you're down to, what, 3 drops? 2 or 3 drops?
It's 3 drops because I threw a Blood Secretor in there at the last minute, and he has done really well so far. So.
I mean, absolutely, you don't want to leave home without him. He's super crucial to the list.
He's so good. Right.
Absolutely. So when you think about designing lists for this tournament, outside of the meta, what do you think about in terms of having your lists complement each other so you can be more flexible and address different risks and threats you're going to come up against?
Well, last year we could do just a Chaos faction, right? So I did Beastmen, and I still have that Beastman army, and I love it, but it's so many models. So I wanted my games to kind of be over quicker. Either way, I'm going to beat you to death or you're going to beat me to death. So I like the 2-list format. My other list is the Reapers of Vengeance, anti-magic. One of them ignores spell effects on a 2-up. One of them has a 4-up saver, it's mortal wounds. One of them has a spell mirror. There's a priest in there, the Hexgorger Skulls. So that's a complete anti-magic. And it's actually pretty good against, you have to be more careful against melee armies, but they can actually swing twice a turn for a command point for the Reapers. And that's what I think most people are running there is just Reapers. But I think to counter the meta, to be able to swing first, it's just a deterrent. You can't charge 2 instant rage Bloodthirsters with 6 attacks each, and then ability to reroll hit rolls and wound rolls. It's hard.
No, absolutely. Now, last year you came in here, you were 5-0. Obviously, this year the goal is to go 5-0. But I'd love to hear if you have any specific things you're hoping to do, any fun. Like little challenges you set yourself, like table every opponent, or what? Like, do you have any other side goals you've been hoping to get at?
I think the hobby side is where I'm really starting to pick up on things, maxing paint scores and things like that. And I've worked really hard to become a better painter, a better hobbyist. But as far as in the games, maxing sportsmanship is probably my goal. Making sure everybody has a good time.
You're speaking my language, dude. To me, that's the biggest goal every time. Is make sure my opponent had fun first, I had fun second, and then maybe win a game along the way.
Yeah, not everyone can do that. I mean, it's sometimes you get to feel bad, but I try to do that, and I play competitively. We all know that, and you can play competitively and still have fun, I think.
Definitely. Now, one thing that makes Nashcon unique is the way the schemes are set up. It's the random list of 6 out of the 25, and sometimes that can make for really polarizing games. I wonder if you could talk about either what you've enjoyed about the scheme so far, or funny stories that have come out of the schemes and having to play really weird asymmetrical secondary objectives.
Yeah, this year I got some really easy ones, mostly die or kill something, which is, man, let's face it, this is what corn does. But I think the schemes are great. I love this format. I want to shout out to David. He runs a great event, and the terrain is fantastic. It's beautiful. That's probably my favorite thing about the event. And then the armies and the people are all nice. But as far as the schemes go, I think they add a great dimension to the game, make you think. It's like, man, what do I have to do to? And then sometimes you can catch on to what your opponent's doing. Maybe, he's trying to get his guy killed, or, and sometimes, like in my first game, I got cursed, and I couldn't give the curse back to him, so he got a scheme for that. So it's pretty great.
That's awesome, man. Well, good luck, and thank you so much for coming on.
I got something to say, brother. I got something to say. Where is it? Ranjith, I'm coming for you at CanCon, motherfucker. You better grow eyes in the back of your head. I'm going to come down there to the great country of Australia, and I'm going to wrestle you to the ground. I'm going to put you down there. I'm going to hold you down, and I'm going to make sweet, sweet, sweet love to you, brother. You're going to know my name. It's Joe Pagano. I am the wheeler. I am the dealer. I'm everything you've ever dreamed of. You are bland. You are nothing. And by the time I'm done with you, no one is going to give a shit about what a fruit tingle is. Brother.
Heard it here first, folks. We're coming back at 4:15. Please tune back into The Honest Wargamer, brought to you by the Rage of Sigmar Podcast Media Conglomerate Entertainment Suite Network.